All counties will receive similar support in the coming months.
Naimiza sana mambo ya dijitali Kenya mzima. Kwa hii safari tumetembea counties 23 tukipeana kompyuta na tumebaki tuna counties 24 ndio tumalize counties zote.
And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembor.
%90 of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When we see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, we start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human, everybody's human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, staki kuongea, conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
One of the things that are ailing our country is negative ethnicity. You find you as a state officer, instead of thinking as a Kenyan, you think like a tribal person.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have had in this country is a leadership deficit. There is nothing that you are going to do in the process of change if you are not a risk taker. So you really have to pursue your vision to a logical conclusion and even be ready to step on people's toes.
When it comes to the economy, you can run away with it. They say statistics are like bikinis. They reveal a lot, but they conceal the vitals. And so government people would throw statistics at you and tell you they're revealing a lot of information to you, but it's really concealing the real vitals.
We need to get out of that, because when we want to grow our democracy, one basic thing that really requires to be understood by the political class, by all of us, is institutions are critical.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Parliament has got powers. Let me break it down. The National Assembly can initiate an impeachment of the president.
This same National Assembly.
Yes. That's our constitution.
Because this is just a continuation of the previous administration, which Ruto was part of. President Uhuru himself openly said that we're losing 2 billion daily. Daily. I mean, come on. Are you saying that we don't have a central bank?
If we look at Kenya, both public-private sector, that figure is ranging between 30 to 40%, right?
I think it's clear that the government of Kenya is living beyond its means.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Baba should disown these experts, and they say they went there on the, because he keep on telling us that these experts just you came from Dubai and you found them there already at State House looking for jobs.
Government has to has to introduce austerity measures. It's something that this government and the previous ones have not been able to do in this country. We've talked about it so many times.
And really, I think you have seen the modus operandi of William Samoei Ruto since he came in. It's just showbiz.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
One of the things that are ailing our country is negative ethnicity. You find you as a state officer, instead of thinking as a Kenyan, you think like a tribal person.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have had in this country is a leadership deficit. There is nothing that you are going to do in the process of change if you are not a risk taker. So you really have to pursue your vision to a logical conclusion and even be ready to step on people's toes.
When it comes to the economy, you can run away with it. They say statistics are like bikinis. They reveal a lot, but they conceal the vitals. And so government people would throw statistics at you and tell you they're revealing a lot of information to you, but it's really concealing the real vitals.
We need to get out of that, because when we want to grow our democracy, one basic thing that really requires to be understood by the political class, by all of us, is institutions are critical.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
In this country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When you see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, you start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human, everybody's human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, "Staki kuongea today." Conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Members of parliament, they go to settle, they just promise they get given tea, mandazi, and 100,000. That's not development.
External borrowing, 589 billion. Are we on the same page? What did parliament pass?
If anything happens to our president today, God forbid, that man would become president. Na ndio alilenga hizo stories za Shakahola.
The real thing is our constitution has only one person who is accountable to us.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
I am also a publicly elected official. Okay. My salary is paid by your taxes.
Yes.
So if you need me to answer questions, we will not run away from you.
Asante
We will always be here.
The government itself is engaging in corrupt practices. That the government itself deliberately schemes to influence through bribery members of parliament.
You pay for a passport online. If you're told there are no booklets.
I rebuke matters corruption, because corruption has brought this country to its knees.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
SRC's mandate is constitutional. It's not an advice. It's actually something you must do.
Must do.
Like now you abandon, of course, the narrative of wheelbarrow, Mutomjengo, Mamamboga, and all those, that narrative, that rosy narrative.
Your expenditure is 3.3 trillion, and you're collecting only 2.5. Out of that 2.5, you're spending 1.8 trillion service loans and so forth.
That the CDF kit, it's in itself a symptom of corruption.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Kamanya, how are you?
I am good. I'm good like the morning.
How's your Friday?
Well, it's Promising.
Your week has been good?
Yes.
Nice.
It's been a good week.
Yes. Karibu Salam. Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation, The Situation Room, right here as we continue with conversations that matter within our societies, the country, and beyond. Very well, today being Friday, Friday the 24th. We shall be having several conversations. Let me just let you in on what it is we're going to be discussing today, and about Ndu Oko. Ndu Oko is not in today. She has issues to deal with at the doctor's infirmary, and everything is going to be okay with her. So ametuma salamu zake, just letting you guys know that she is okay and that everything will be fine. She's going to be here on Monday to continue with the conversations, but in the meantime, Dennis Stoll, Aseto, as well as Josphat, Kamanya, holding fort, making sure that these conversations as well continue. But the conversation shall be having this morning as well. At 7 a.m., we will be having a conversation on guarding your vote. So Francis Masinde is digital systems developer, and One Term Movement launches digital voting platform for 2027 flag bearer selection. At a time when we have seen from the by-election that Kenyans themselves decided to guard the vote, staying at the polling stations, ensuring that the voting exercised the entire election process is something that can be verified. Ask the question then, what is the role of each political party in protecting the vote that they have been given by Wananchi? Interesting to see how that conversation will be taking place. And at 8 a.m. we will be having state accountability, evaluating government action ahead of 2027. Now, Elijah Sawe is ICT Director, UDA Party, and Omar Haji is the political analyst, Linda Mwananchi. One asked the question, is the state accountable to Wananchi? Because remember, the state enjoys delegated responsibility. So at the end of the day, is the state, should the state come back and tell the people on what it is doing, where failure is, who's taking responsibility, where good has been done, what is incentives that are given to individuals, or is it about everything passes?
The end justifies the means. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
And
at 9 a.m. is our Friday Healthy Friday conversation, and it's all about fighting hepatitis now. It is a breakdown of Kenya's viral hepatitis response and the roadmap to sustainable health outcomes. Now, Dr. Hadija Hassan is the MPhil MEC in International Public Health, Felt P as well. She'll be having that conversation on fighting hepatitis, with the conversation around vaccination as well, HPV vaccination that is in the country, and young girls pretty much being encouraged to take this vaccination. But there is chatter, there is talk all over the place, anti-vaxxers as well in the house saying don't take it. So where exactly are we when we talk about fighting hepatitis in the country? Big conversation, because then you look at hepatitis and its correlation with cervical cancer. Then one asks the question, how do we fight that if we are not vaccinating? And even if we decide to vaccinate them, what are the conversations we're having with communities in bringing them to that thing again called public participation? You know, so those are the conversations we shall be having with you today. But in the meantime, let us say hi to you, everybody who's listening in. Just to let you know that our streams are live on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, also on Instagram. Talk to us as we continue with these conversations. And this morning, Kamanya, before we even go forward to the proverb, to Salamiari Ngwatus, let me tell you where we are this week. This week we are in the world's fourth largest island. Madagascar. Yes, the people are, the language is Malagasy. Yes. But now one thing that stands out in Madagascar is the fact that it is a vanilla country. So over 90% of vanilla that is produced in the world comes from that country. Yes. But as well, when you visit and you see their wildlife, the wildlife, you can only find it in that country. You can't find it anywhere. So when you think about penguins of Madagascar, they're unique. They're unique to them. They're unique to them, especially the ring-tailed lemur. So King Julian, you can only see King Julian
in Madagascar.
You can only see King Julian in Madagascar. But let's go to the proverb that we have this morning. The proverb: when the village sees the scholar begging and the thief riding a horse, the children begin to question the road to wisdom. when the village sees the scholar begging,
right,
and the thief riding a horse, the children begin to question the road to wisdom.
Are you sure it's not a Kenyan proverb?
It is Malagasy proverb.
It has vanilla essence in it.
Yeah, how would you interpret it?
Hey, because talk of ill-gotten wealth, you know, and means that are scrupulous.
Yep.
Anyway, to keep it simple, because that sounds very Kenyan, I would say processes have outcomes.
Yep.
And people only trust the outcome if the process is as prudent as it is outlined. When there is compromise in the process, the outcome is different, and people begin to look for shortcuts. So when you hear that scholar begging, is what you're saying here in Kenya. Graduates, they're saying no job, no absorption, no capital to start business. But yet, the most richest people today in our country, people who have cash flow, are the politicians whom we know their basic salary, what it is.
What it is.
You see, but they're splashing millions across the country. So I think it's wisdom saying that we have to be true to our causes. It's about integrity, you know, it's about the process and knowing that people also look up to you. You know, the same thing we talk about inspiring confidence. You can still inspire thuggery and corruption, because if you seem to be doing well because you have stolen, people will want to steal to be like you. Yeah.
I think it talks about an example that is set. Because you see, the children ask the way to wisdom simply because they look at the example that has been set. And they ask, first of all, why work so hard to be a scholar when at the end of the day, there is nothing to show for it? You know, at the end of the day, why work so hard to genuinely amass wealth when you can take shortcuts and amass wealth, right? So you look at the example that has been set, then you ask yourself, why is it that even future generations become the worst there is? Because another thing with the generation that follows is technology, education. So they're smarter than even the previous generation. So perhaps something to learn from the Malagasy this morning. Let's say good morning to the people real quick. So, G. Kenyan, good morning from Nairobi. Good morning to you, G. Kenyan. Laban Mutaroke, good morning, good people tuned in. Karibu Sana. Henry accepted. Good morning, Spice family. We are at where it was said that the wheel of justice grinds slowly, yet the grind exceedingly small. Justice be our shield. You know, when you look at the decision of the court yesterday with regard to the Sharon murder case, I mean, justice grinds slowly, but it does. Surely. Now, Nahash and Gogi, good morning to Juma Mubarak Dennis, Juma Karim, and fellow Muslims, brothers and sisters. Indeed, true wheels of justice are slow. I don't get why they want to wrap this entire case now instead of adjournment till December. Well, the justice, as you said, it grinds slowly, but it surely does grind. Now, Peter Carrier, good morning from Mombasa. 99% of life's problems disappear the moment you remove the wrong foods, wrong people, wrong habits, and wrong thoughts from your life. I agree.
Amen to that.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Migui Michael, good morning, Spice. Hopefully technology may rescue streamlined systems, i.e. reduce wastage and increase efficiency. We do have these systems. Question is, people at the back end, are they as clean? Can they be trusted with the system?
Actually, they're the ones who clog the system. They make sure they don't work. But when you remove the wrong people, hey, efficiency
is back. True. Boba Coco, good morning, Spice Crew, listening all the way from Kendo Bay, Kanyasura. How is Kendo Bay this morning? Christina, Karibu Sana, good morning. Have a beautiful weekend. It's going to be amazing. All eyes in Bungoma Kabesa as the Linda Bonanchi faction are retreat in the western part of the country, waiting for that announcement. Let's see how that will go. Now, Margaret Enjoy, good morning, all at Spice FM, Situation Room from Houston, Texas. Happy Friday, my friends. Let's continue the great conversation. Asante sana. Isakale, good morning. Ndundu is not here, but Pata Salam and Aseto, you're back. Karibu sana. Now, the troubles of the nation nearly drove me mad, so I had to take a brief break. Glad to be tuned in again. Let's make sense of this beautiful chaos together. And yes, indeed, that break was well deserved, and Karibu sana. We had missed you, but let's continue with the conversation. Robert Mboga, good morning from Mombasa. Eric Nyanga, good morning. Spices are listening to the president, and the shameful words that came out of his mouth shows a very bitter and worried man in denial.
Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Now, MSP Miss Pierre, rather. Good morning, Spices. Have we found nothing good will come out of this government? Ama he was abducted. Anyone who knows him should let us know if he's okay. Now, Kimiak, where are you? Kimiak,
where are
it's the
you?
second week people are asking for you, hoping that you're well, hoping that you've also just taken a break, hoping to see you soon wherever you are. Also tell us that you are okay. Bangi Juma.
If he's on a break, take a break from the break.
Yes,
come back and say hi.
Take a break from the break. Right. Important, Sana. Bangi Juma. Good morning, Spice. Sifuna is now the president's headache. The State House meeting yesterday was on Sifuna. One would say State House just focus on delivering for Kenyans. Kenyans will make a decision on who they want to be their president. So just focus on working for the people.
But you see, the scale on state accountability is different. Yeah, it depends on who is measuring, who is weighing, and who needs to report.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, hello, Princess Ndu. Princess is not here. Aseto, Niko Salama Sana. Joy is as well here. So, our very competent CS Interior has blamed everybody but himself for the goons' free hand in terrorizing citizens, and now will act on goons as directed by police. Chief, care to comment?
No, I'm a hyena, so it's okay.
It's okay?
I'm a hyena.
Yeah.
Yes. Can see Kenyans, we are hyenas. Yes, so let me be a hyena.
Yeah, let's be hyenas.
Yes.
And James, hello, 1 Kings 12, 13, 14. The king answered them harshly, rejecting the advice to him by the elders. He took the advice of the young men and said, my father made your yoke heavy, I will make heavier. Amen. To that. Now, bonjour to finally it's Friday. Linda Gola, yes, it's Friday. Good morning, Tim Spice. It's Friday. Tuned in to the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Simon, we're going to see what you did there. And yes, this is the only way to start your day. It's a drug that we encourage everybody to keep taking. And Alan Otieno, how are you this morning? Mimi Niko Salama Kamanya, how are you?
Niko Fidi.
Nice. Knock, who's there? The weather has been here and I way below it. Anyways, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Melbourne. Happy birthday to you. And may you feel better with the weather doing its thing as well. Mr. Flani, good morning. Aseto, Kama Gari La Moshi is a locomotive. Please tell Ndu what an electric train is called in Kiswahili. Kama Sakaja ameshindwa na chapati. J, subway system. So if, hey.
Subway, the fast food joint. No, I'm just seeking clarity. I'm only asking, what subway are you talking about?
This one is the transportation solution that needs to be taking Kenyans from point A to point B.
In Kenya.
In Nairobi.
In Nairobi. Lazima iwekze. Under the governor, the current governor.
Yes.
Subway.
Lazima iwak.
Okay.
Let's make Nairobi.
Mimi ni fisi ama haina.
Haina. Unasema hiyo story umekataa. And I think Gari La Moshi, whether it's English or Swahili, still applies. I would assume.
Yeah.
Sindio?
Ama ni la stima.
Ama ni Gari La Moshi la stima. That one too. Leo, the media, church and evil society are blowing the whole goon issue out of proportion. It's a small issue here and there, reporting from Utopia. Well, very well, that is what is said, that everybody is blowing it out of proportion, but the government knows that it's a tiny minute thing that can be handled, so
so we should not worry. We should not be bothered.
Chill,
a few people being kicked here and there, a few properties being vandalized, some lives being lost. We should not worry. Okay.
Ni mambo madogo. We will
it's not alarming.
It's not. Why would it alarm me? The government has it in control. Erica Ward, good morning, guys. Good morning to you. Collins Kintai, good morning to you as well. Good morning, JK and Aseto. Uko salama, JK?
Niko Fidi.
Quick recovery to the Princess Ndu. Yes, indeed. Called beautiful morning. Scenes from Alberto Joan case and being called hyena. Let's just say we locomote irregardless.
Yes.
We locomote
regardless.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That is Rosa Kibunja. Tibbs Muge, good morning, SpiceFM team. Declassified UK just released a video on B1 and B2 bombers worth a watch. Well, yes, indeed, what it is they do, how they release an attack. I mean, it's interesting to see what technology can do, especially when it comes to modern day warfare. Rahim Tula Omar, morning from Nairobi. Can we stop calling goons and call them criminals, especially the media? Yes, goons are criminals.
Yes, that's true.
And criminals are also goons. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's called them for
and all those activities are activities of criminality against the law.
Yes. And especially those who are harboring them and supporting them, those are the chief criminals, chief goons.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Sylvia Elegua, good morning, Dennis and Joe. Good morning to you. Happy Friday. Looking dope as always. And Mr. Kamanya, good to see you. Quick recovery too.
Thank you.
Mr. Kamanya, wasalimia hapo Wanda. Good morning, Aseto and Joe. Karibu sana. I'm always so happy to see you both. Tell me, why do you guys do look so good? Gym, health juices, meditation. What's the secret? What's your secret?
It's all of the above.
All of the above.
Just finding the balance, trying to be in the equilibrium.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonder. Aseto Kutu is coming very soon, as well as working out. And just, cooking your own food.
Yes.
For me, that's where it's at. Cooking your own food. Quick recovery, Sister Ndu. Yes, indeed. That is Laban Mutaroki Rahim Tula. Ndu is away. She's not feeling well, but she's going to be back. Good morning, tuned in. It's a syphinated weekend. Paul Olaka. Yes, we look forward to what that weekend will yield. Good morning, Aseto and our handsome Joe. Where is Ndu? Jennifer Teng. Ndu is not feeling well, but she's going to be back. Good morning, Aseto and Joe. Wonderful seeing you guys. Why Ruto likes responding to each and every opposition statements? He needs to learn and revisit how Zuma managed to lead for 8 years. That is Mokapelia Luhimbo. The president has advisors. The president has communicators. It is the work of these communicators to communicate. The president doesn't have to respond to each and every single thing that is being said.
You see all those things you've said? Just one more sentence.
Yes.
The president has one more year in office.
Okay.
Period. After that, we don't have to force people to be nice. If someone is not good and serving the purpose you intended them to serve, just change. Yes. That's why we change outfit.
Okay. Yes.
The Constitution says every 5 years, we as Kenyans can revise our decision. So,
another thing that happens when you're changing outfit, ni unaoga.
Yes.
Unavaa nguo, unarudi soko.
Yes. Na tunaingia soko. Si campaign season is on.
It's on,
Let's not force people to be nice. If they cannot live up to our expectation, my friend, usiforce.
Yes. Simon Mwihu, good quick recovery to our only Empress Ndu. Yes, indeed. Edwin Tulo, good morning, Team Spice. Finally, justice has been served to the family of Let Sharon. Village Autospan Grill Eldoret is locked. The morning is chilling and we are ready for our clans. Kariba Sana, Edwin, how is LD? Now, David Mangero, good morning, Spice FM. And the situation, good morning to you, Simon Kibir. Good morning, Team Spice. Tuned in from Mombasa, justice delivered for Sharon. Let's hope Ojwang gets justice too. Good day. Like we've said, justice grinds slowly, but it grinds surely. Now, Raskador, good Friday morning, Team Spice. Kumbe, Obado, Mambo, Bado. Justice boiling nicely. Nyaisango, Nyaisangajo. Good morning, my good people. Looking forward to the weekend. Damascus, looking forward to that as well. Rahim Tula, quick recovery Tundu. Bongi Juma, hi Spice. After 4 years of failed help funding, the government has realized isn't working because of our vote. All Kalau virus is real, And Rahim Tulomar, welcome Joe. Liz Mark Lefty, hi guys, good morning to you and everybody else who's listening to us on terrestrial radio, online. Tunasema karibuni sana. Nanga ni meli imengoa nanga, right?
Yes.
Conversations continue. In the meantime, let's take a short commercial break. We'll look at the weather and traffic, and we will be back and look at the headlines this morning. Good morning.
Yebo.
FM.
Good morning, and the weather situation that we find this morning is all about Nairobi, 13 degrees, partly cloudy, highs of 23 and low of 13 in Kisumu, partly cloudy, 12 degrees, high of 25 and low of 13 degrees. In Marsabit, clear skies at 18 degrees, high of 26 and low of 18. In Nyeri is mostly cloudy at 14, high of 23 and low of 13. Let's cross the borders, go to Lagos, Nigeria, mostly cloudy, 26 degrees, high of 30 and low of 26. Johannesburg, South Africa, is mostly clear at 8 degrees, high of 20 and low of 25 in New York. Clear skies at 22 degrees, high of 26 and low of 19 in China. Partly sunny at 28 degrees, high of 31 and a low of 24. That is weather. These are good morning.
Chilled Spice.
Sugar and spices, everything nice. Spice FM.
Spice up your life. Traffic.
Let's look at the situation on our roads this morning. We look at Thika Road around KCA University as you head towards the Pangani underpass. It's a little bit clogged up, nothing much to report on the other side of the road. That is around Eastern Bypass. A little bit of traffic around Benedicta Utawala. A little bit of traffic that can be seen there. However, as you come closer towards Cabanas, nothing much to report. Mombasa Road is flowing smoothly. Southern Bypass is easy. Nothing much to report about. However, as you talk about Ngong Road, a little bit of traffic as you head towards the Kenyatta National Hospital roundabout. Nothing much to report about, but as the day goes by, we shall be here to tell you exactly how the situation is on the road. But at the moment, that is the traffic situation on our roads. These are good morning.
Turn up the heat with endless entertainment on Star Times. Feel every moment of the action as the biggest leagues reach their thrilling finales. Recharge your monthly subscription to unlock a world of endless drama to enjoy Novella E, now available on your Nyota bouquet. Dive into blockbuster movies with the launch of TNT, your new home of big screen hits. And for the little ones, a world of non-stop fun on Cartoon Network, now on Star Times. News, sports, drama, movies, kids, and reality all in one place. All for you. To renew your subscription, dial *858# for self-service or get in touch with our call center on 0719 077 077 for customer care. Buy a Star Times decoder at any of our deal shops countrywide. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Life Hack on Spice FM, brought to you by Gentle Care Baby Pants for the unstoppable baby and for the mother who cares.
Gentle Care, wanna keep your baby dry and clean.
Limit bath frequency. Your infant doesn't need much bathing if you wash the diaper area thoroughly during diaper changes. Bathing her more frequently may dry out her skin.
Life Hack on Spice FM, proudly brought to you by Gentle Care Baby Pants. World-class premium comfort diapers that feature quick max absorption technology and zigzag channels that distribute wetness evenly, so there's absolutely no sagging. It's smart, it's premium, and it's affordable. Join the unstoppable journey today. Grab a pack of Gentle Care Baby Pants at your nearest supermarket. Gentle Care Baby Pants for the unstoppable baby and for the mother who cares.
Traffic.
A whole decade of style, flavor, and unforgettable memories. The Hub Karen is turning 10 and you're invited to the ultimate celebration. Join the Hub 10 Million Step Challenge on Saturday, July the 18th, or indulge at the Table for 10 Food Festival on Sunday, August the 2nd. Come celebrate 10 years of community and experiences. Head over to the Hub Karen today.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
At exactly 38 minutes after 6 a.m., welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation, The Situation Room. Dennis Toll, Aseto, together with Josphat, Kamanya in the house as we continue the conversations. Now, let's look at what the papers are saying. Now, we start with the dailies. That is from Kenya's bold newspaper, The Standard. And it is an image of individuals who found themselves in that murder case. And it's murderers, that's the headline. Justice at last. 8 years of grief, 8 years of unanswered questions. Yesterday, Sharon Otieno's family finally had the words they had waited for. Justice Cecilia Githua convicted former Migori Governor Okoth Obado, his aide Michael Oyamu, and former Migori County Clerk Caspar Obiero of murdering the 26-year-old Rongo University student and her unborn son. The court found Sharon's pregnancy spiked a calculated plot to silence her and protect political power. The verdict delivers long-awaited justice to a grieving family and sends hope in the fight against femicide. So, Sharon Otieno was a university student who was brutally murdered in September 2018. She had an affair with Governor Okoth Obado that led to her pregnancy.
It's sad, you know.
It's sad that a life had to be lost. Two lives had to be lost in the most gruesome manner.
Yeah, and for what?
Yeah.
You know, you sought this lady, you indulged.
Yep.
And then, you know, things changed or went south. If you chose not to continue with the relationship, find an amicable way of walking away peacefully.
Yeah.
Because now, Sharon and her unborn child are gone. Even if Obado and the company go to jail, Sharon and the baby will never come back. Mama Sharon will never see her daughter again. And Obado, you've lost your freedom. Even you, your own family, will never get to experience you as the man of the family and the father. So some of these things, how I wish we can... And you see, the unfortunate bit is that there are 3 men here. I don't know if the court found 3 of them guilty. But there are 3 men. If they were all found guilty, it would mean 3 men accosted 1 woman.
Yeah.
Was there no one among them who just had a pause, a moment of sanity and say, guys, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know, so I think also the company we keep is very, very important.
Another proverb.
Yeah.
Show me your friends.
Yeah. And I'll know what kind of a hyena you are.
Exactly.
So this is very sad, actually, because even when you say justice at last, lives are lost. They'll never come back.
True.
Even if these guys have life sentences, it doesn't change anything.
I mean, in a situation where you are in a relationship and things have gone south, the most reasonable thing to do is walk away.
It's okay, yes.
Walk away.
Yes.
There are also other instruments where if someone is then blackmailing you, you can go to the police and you can even get a restraining order.
Yes.
There are channels within the system itself that can protect you.
When you're alive.
When you're alive.
When you're both alive.
When you're
you
both
know?
alive.
Yes.
But then again, let's just see the final orders of the court come December.
Right.
Now, page 2, Wetangula, Kingi get court relief over backing Ruto's re-election. Now, court dismisses Vocal Africa's case, saying the human rights group should have first taken the matter to EACC. The judge said the elephant in the room was the integrity and behavior of the 2 speakers. But even where that is the case, one would ask the question, was the law broken at the time?
Yes.
Right? And when the law is broken, there is fine going to EACC, but the courts as well are there to interpret this.
Yeah.
But then again, the court spoke. Let's just see.
We wait and see.
Vocal Africa then will do with the orders that they have been given. NYS is taking our jobs. Aviation workers protest. Now, a nationwide strike threatening to cripple Kenya's aviation sector remains on course unless employers address long-standing labor grievances, with the threat to aviation workers a job among key concerns. Now, lawyers boycott courts over judges' conduct row. Now, services at the Mombasa and Kuala Environment land courts were disrupted yesterday after lawyers boycotted proceedings in protest against judges who obtained orders stopping investigations into their conduct.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
Lawyers and judges.
Yeah.
And you see that thing of NYS. Actually, I would want to know whether the NYS people are paid the full amount the other workers would be paid if they did the job.
Yeah, market rate.
Yes, or are they being exploited as cheap labor? Because you find the NYS officers all over. How I hate to imagine they're being exploited as cheap labor. So I think that's an interesting thing to see how it develops, because the aviation workers, they're not complaining in vain. They're complaining for a reason, you know, and the Civil Aviation Authority. Yes, and we see them all over. No problem, but if they're being paid, hey, they should get market rate.
Market rate, yeah,
yes.
True. Now, India donates medical supplies to keep Ebola at bay. So that is Health CS Eden Duale receiving medical supplies from India High Commissioner Dash Swaika as part of preparedness efforts to fight Ebola on Wednesday. The one thing that I wanted the Cabinet Secretary to tell us is the 7 individuals who are in Laikipia today, is it a quarantine facility? Anyway, in that Ebola observation room, or is it building that is in Laikipia?
Yeah.
what's the progress? Why are they here? Because because if someone is being observed, we have hospitals which have been prepared by the government of Kenya. I think they talked about around 20-something facilities.
23, I think.
Why aren't these 7 individuals in these hospitals that have been prepared to observe Ebola in the country?
And where did they come from?
Are they
Kenyans?
DRC. They are Americans.
Why are we hosting?
Well, these are the questions.
Why are we hosting viral carriers? I mean,
could be.
Because you see, that's a matter of that's a matter for real. It's a matter of internal security and public health.
Concern,
yeah. Because if indeed those people are confirmed to be sick, and there happens to be an outbreak in one or the other from them, they infect one another, and they know how it spreads. How are we going to explain ourselves? And then here we are. You see, we admit people who are sick or suspected to be sick, then we receive donations to keep Ebola at bay. Why not just keep the people at bay?
Yes, keep the people at bay. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's see how, because I know this is equally a matter, I think, that is in court. So let's see how that goes. Now, Britain cancels military training in Kenya over permit dispute.
Sovereignty galore. Yes.
So planned exercise was to take place in September and November in Laikipia. Nanyuki and neighboring towns rely on 10 billion shillings that British military inject. So the UK government has relocated a planned military training from Laikipia after Kenya failed to approve renewal of licenses for the British Army Training Unit. Batuk, through the Ministry of Defence, the UK announced the activity dubbed Exercise Haraka Storm, scheduled to run in Laikipia between September and November, will instead take place in an alternative location in neighboring Tanzania. It is with regret that the necessary licenses required to allow training to take place in Laikipia later this year have not been forthcoming. As a result, the planned training will now be conducted at an alternative location outside Kenya, said a United Kingdom Ministry of Defence spokesperson.
You know how these contracts are skewed? They reduce our country to a playground.
Yeah.
You cannot hold any of these soldiers.
Shoot, bam, bam,
yes.
bam, bam.
And even if they shoot other things where they leave offsprings behind, you can't do anything about it. When a life is lost in their hands, you can't do anything about it. And did we just admit France?
Yeah, we did. We did as well. We did.
So you're doing an exchange program. Kick out Britain, admit France.
Admit French. Anyway, justice at last as Obado, 2 men found guilty of Sharon's murder. So in a painstaking judgment, Justice Cecilia Githua reconstructed the final weeks of Sharon's life. The judge exposed how a relationship with the governor descended into a murder plot meant to silence a woman carrying his unborn child. So the timeline here that we see is August 2018. Sharon discovers she is pregnant. Now September 3rd, 2018, Sharon disappears after leaving Gracia Hotel with a journalist. On September 4th, 2018, her body is found in a thicket near Owade, Homa Bay County. September 2018, Obado, Michael Oyamo and Caspar Lubiero are arrested and charged with the murder. 2019 to 2026, trial proceeds with 42 witnesses and 81 exhibits. And July 23rd, 2026, High Court convicts all 3 accused. And on August 18th, 2026, sentencing date is scheduled. Let's look at how that will go. Now, High Court nullifies Ruto's public debt audit task force. So, the court has declared unconstitutional President William Ruto's decision to establish a task force to conduct a forensic audit of Kenya's public debt, ruling that the team unlawfully duplicated the constitutional mandate of the Auditor General. Justice Lawrence Mugambe, in his judgment, said President Ruto has no power to create a body that has an overlapping role to that of an independent constitutional office.
Right.
I have a question. We have the Auditor General.
Yes.
She has been giving audit reports on where the situation is, especially when it comes to expenditure of public funds. And with the report she has been giving, it has not been good, Bwana. It has not been good. She's been saying it like it is. One also expects that she ought to audit all the expenditure when it comes to our debt, who we borrowed from, the contracts, how was it spent and all that. Why are we not seeing her office being allowed to do its job, if at all the Constitution gives her that power and the power?
And the President constitutes a commission
and
duplicate and constitutionally
constitutes
and gives them all the rights to do what they're denying the Auditor General, who is constitutional. ought to be doing.
Yeah.
And they were to give us this report in 90 days, a record 90 days since 2024. I don't know, maybe we're in day 40. And then the thief has been caught.
Yeah.
So the commission has been nullified.
Yeah.
So it seems our debts cannot be audited.
And let me ask a question.
Right.
The president has a government's chief legal advisor,
Yes, he does.
the Attorney General, right?
Yes, yes.
Also, other lawyers seconded to the office of the president. There are many. There are many. The Solicitor General and everybody else.
Yes.
By the time the president is then forming a task force that is unconstitutional in nature, where are all these advisors that should be telling the president on how to operate within the law?
No, they were absent. How else do you explain it?
Kamanya.
Yes.
Because you see, the thing is, how I look at it.
Right.
If today the court has ruled that the president unconstitutionally constituted a task force, then the people who are mandated to advise the president, right, so the Attorney General and everybody else, right,
team,
they should be in office because they have let down the president.
Yes. And that office of the Attorney General.
You know what I mean?
It is the chief custodian
Yes,
of laws.
of laws and the Constitution.
And the Constitution. It should guide whatever you're about to do is not within your scope, is not within your mandate, is beyond the constitutional provision of your office.
Which then asks the second question. Where is accountability when someone does not perform? You see, in private sector, you don't perform, Bana, you're out.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Warning, summary, dismissal, and a chezo kunje. But in public sector, where we ought to be setting the example, you can do anything and walk scot-free.
No, you know, there's one thing that I have come to appreciate, and Kimiyak says, I don't know where he is. Where is Kimiyak? Accountability is a moving target.
Yeah.
It is a moving target with this regime. Some point, they'll hit the nail on the head. Like saying, don't worry about Gunism. We've got it.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
just a minute thing.
Yeah.
But this public debt thing, no, it's moving so fast. We need a faster moving commission to tail it. So accountability is a moving target with this regime. I'm not surprised. I think the office of the Attorney General also need to explain itself to Kenyans as to why. Because this is not the first time this regime has faced litigation.
Yes.
Many a times we hear of decisions being nullified. The recent one was the appointment of somebody who was beyond the retirement age. Of all the basic things you can get wrong, just beyond the retirement age. So I think also the office of the Attorney General, they need to explain themselves to us as Kenyans. How are they making just basic legal
blunders? Yes. Now, Murkomen has deflected criticism over goons' violence to IG Kanja. Now is when the office is independent, right? So SCS says he has no authority to direct the police on how to perform their duties. He linked the armed men to politicians and asked security agencies to deal with them irrespective of their political stance. The ongoing debate about stemming goonism culture in the country is turning into a blame game as top leaders, Kenyans and the clergy call for stricter measures by security forces to curb the menace. At the time when the cabinet secretary was making that order, shoot in the leg, shoot to kill, don't worry, I will represent you in court. At that time, he was making those orders to who exactly? To the police, right?
Yeah.
At that point, the chief commander of the police or the head of the police service was the IG, right? But he was speaking directly to the police. So now is when he remembers that, there is an IG who then bears the responsibility. But that's not where it's at. My question is, now that the IG has seen that when whatever hits the fan, right? When it flies. When it hits the fan, it is him to take personal responsibility because he's in charge of the unit. What is he doing in providing security, knowing that at the end of the day, he will carry his own cross?
He's the one who is accountable.
Thank you.
Let's see. IG, over to you.
Yes, IG, over to you. If this is not a learning lesson for you, then perhaps iko shida mahali. Now, Sifuna's tour of Western Kenya rattles Kenya Kwanza. Linda Mwananchi team plans to tour Trans Nzoia and Bungoma this weekend. Ruto allies in the region have been holding meetings and mobilization for. Let me tell you, things are boiling nicely. Things are boiling nicely. We are here for that. We're here to see the decisions that will be made. Whether Sifuna is going to be to announce himself as the presidential candidate, whether the people have decided that he is the presidential candidate we want. Let's see what effect that will have, especially in the western part of the country and the entire country, and what how that will change then the political space moving forward. Over to you. Let's look at the nation.
Well, there's a lot There's a lot. The Daily Nation talks about the cold-blooded killers. You know, the story of Sharon Otieno and her unborn child, and the suspect, Michael Oyamo, Kaspol Obiero, and former Migori Governor Zachary Okoth Obado at the Milimani Law Courts yesterday. Lady Justice Cecilia Kitua found Obado along with his former aides, Michael and Kaspal, guilty of the 2018 murder of Sharon Otieno. What we were saying earlier is such a sad case, you know.
It is.
Mandago, the former governor, the current senator. You know this. People of Asingishu.
Yeah.
We need to visit.
We need to revisit.
A former governor becomes a senator. Okay, but anyway, it is well. Only 1 year away. He's off the hook. Remember, he had a 1.1 billion Finland scam. Senator Jackson Mandago has been acquitted of conspiracy to misappropriate shillings 1.1 billion meant for the Uasin Gishu County Scholarship Program. The court ruled the prosecution had failed to prove the case against the former governor. More stories continue. Page 2, midnight WhatsApp shock on why sacking Uhuru's hand and return to the Vice Chancellor's office. You know, Professor Stephen Kiama.
Yes.
Yeah, that story goes on page 2. And the late Makoha is there, CS Education.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think a lot of this continues on page 6 till the Sharon Skin and the rights defenders, they welcome Obado conviction. You know, we see that the mother, she's really heartbroken. Page 8 talks about why Batu couldn't be holding September military exercise, what we were talking about earlier regarding the UK not being able to practice or exercise here in Kenya anymore because of contractual disagreement. They want to be not held accountable, and they cover everything under what they call official duty. Even crimes against humanity, it could be rape, murder, and everything. So Kenya is saying, no. Our sovereignty dictates that everything
that happens under our soil
is subject to our law.
To our laws,
And I hope we should take that strong stand. Well, page 10. At least 1.6 million Kenyans had registered on Boma Yangu by end of June 2026.
Okay.
PS Hinga is talking of the bulk of Boma Yangu refunds were paid deposits for home buyers. He says that most of the 2.56 billion recorded as refunds under the Boma Yangu platform did not leave the affordable housing program, but was used as deposits for home buyers. A breakdown by Housing Principal Secretary Charles Hinga shows. In a statement released on Wednesday by Mr. Hinga, it said that 2.56 billion included actual cash refunds and money used to pay deposits for customers' allocated houses. Boma Yangu was formed during President Uhuru Kenyatta's term as a platform for Kenyans to mobilize savings towards house ownership. The story continues. You know, there's a whole saga on what happened. How does this now conversion to avoidable housing? Yeah, it is. It is avoidable. In my opinion, it is avoidable. We were better off building schools. But the story continues on page 10. More stories to be found. But there's an interesting story I found. On this extract of the Daily Nation. From bad girls to change makers. It's talking of shunned for becoming young mothers. They refused to let stigma define their future. Instead, they rebuilt their lives, created opportunities for others, and proved that with support, skills, and self-belief, motherhood can become the beginning of leadership, not the end of ambition. That story continues with that extract, page 4 and 5 of it. And lastly, page 8 of that. This is something we need to be keen on. Voice of the male. Why over 50% of teen mothers never make it back to school?
Over what?
50%.
50% of teen mothers.
Yes, they never make it back to school. The issue is not even about school. Why are we having teen mothers? Men, we need to have this conversation.
Because where there is a mother, there's a father.
There is a father.
Because in that situation, then what we're being told is perhaps 100% of these teen fathers as well are still in school. It is the teen mothers who don't go back to school.
They bear the brunt.
What is government doing? What are some of the policies, incentives? I mean, also just catching up, you know, what are we doing to ensure that these teen mothers are able to go back to school.
And not just, we should prevent them. Prevention is the thing we need to uphold.
I mean, perhaps maybe the most difficult thing, perhaps we need to start having sex education as a common thing. Religious, our leaders, our communities, our cultures should start embracing the idea that sex education, we are too late to that party. We are too late to that party. And let's go quickly and look at the Nairobi and Now court bombshell, Bishop Nganga love scandal. So just when the explosive battle between preacher and his accuser appeared headed for another day in court, the case took a dramatic turn after Sarah Muthoni had her cash bail revoked and was whisked away to prison, insisting she would fight to the end as the high-profile legal showdown deepened. So, man of the cloth anakula pia nini kondoo wake.
The shepherd and the sheep.
Shepherd and the sheep
issue.
Sheep issue, yeah.
Okay.
You know, Makto's fortune divided. Her heiress finally wins big a decade after being denied a share of her late father's 7 billion shillings fortune. The daughter has finally been recognized. All that on the dailies this morning. It is exactly 7 a.m. time for Newswire with Sheila Tembur. Good morning.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the news. I'm Sheila Tembor. The ODPP has welcomed the High Court's conviction of former Migori Governor Okoth Obado, Michael Oyamo, and Kaspal Obiero for the 2018 murder of Sharon Otieno. The ODPP described the verdict as a major step toward justice and commended prosecutors, DCI investigators, witnesses, and other stakeholders for securing the conviction. Judge Cecilia Githua ruled that the three jointly planned and carried out the murder. They'll remain in custody until 18th August when the court will receive probation and victim impact reports ahead of sentencing.
There is no escape from the conclusion that the accused persons, jointly with others not before the court, committed the offense charged. The evidence on record irresistibly points to the fact that the accused persons, with malice aforethought, unlawfully caused the death of Sharon at the material time. It is therefore my finding that the prosecution has proved its case against the first, the second, and the third accused persons beyond any reasonable doubt. I consequently find each accused person guilty of the offense of murder, contrary to Section 203 of the Penal Code, as charged in Count 1. Each accused is accordingly convicted under Section 322 of the Criminal Procedure Code.
Family lawyer Victor Hezekiah welcomed the ruling.
For us, together with the family, we are grateful to the court for the judgment that has been rendered just a few minutes ago. It has been long coming. It has been a gruesome 8 years. Admittedly, there has been intervening factors that the court even admitted in the judgment. There's been COVID-19, there's been transfer of the judge, there's been changing of the judges here and there. But at last, we have gotten the judgment, and we are happy with the judgment. We'll just take time, as you have heard the court says that it needs time to do the proofreading. So once we get the actual copy, we'll do the analysis. But as it is, we are happy with the conviction. We believe that justice has at last been served. Yes, ordinarily, bond terms apply as long as an accused person is presumed innocent. That presumption automatically ends upon conviction.
The country's aviation sector faces the threat of a fresh strike after the Kenya Aviation Workers Union issued a 7-day strike notice to staff at the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, Kenya Airports Authority, Kenya Airways, and Jambojet. The union cites unresolved labor disputes, including delayed CBA, job and security, the use of long-term contract staff, and the alleged unfair dismissal of workers. Kenya Aviation Workers Union Secretary General Mos Ndiaman warned that if the strike proceeds after the notice expires, passengers should make alternative travel arrangements.
If we don't come out between now and Friday or Saturday, if you don't hear cow calling off the strike, then make sure you have alternative plans of travel. For an organization like Jambojet, with a total employee population of 400 or 450 employees, firing up to 45 of them in a single calendar year, I mean, is something to get our attention. something must be wrong. I mean, are they recruiting the wrong people? If that is the case, then who is to blame?
The union is also opposing plans to deploy 720 NYS officers to airports, saying the move threatens existing jobs. It further wants unpaid flight attendants allowances settled and technical engineers properly graded.
The intention to deploy 720 more NYS officers, cutting across all airports, all airstrips, any aerodrome facility, is a misnomer, because it directly threatens the jobs of our members. We have issues around crew allowance, some of which is not being paid. We have issues around what we call tier system for our technical staff. Those are the engineers. They are not getting their rightful dues.
And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembor.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
You have land, Dennis. Okay, your own land. You use your own money to build it, and then you sell it to yourself.
But we don't want foreign troops on Kenyan soil.
But surely it goes a little bit deeper. This is it. If you find the tree is withering, then you call the person who is managing that tree. Come around. Why? Tell me what is
first of all, what's the problem?
Yes, what is the problem there?
How do we expect ourselves to move forward as a country?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Presidency is fairly interesting in the sense that it will actually take us to a new consciousness.
Swali zile watu hawaulizi, na swali muuliza na shangala ni aje, kwani huku kunaendaje?
30 billion shillings annually on travel alone in public service.
A Kenyan can even demonstrate every single day of his life that Ruto must go. That is the only message of his demonstration. That is his right.
That bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of those who are in the right.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Every time he kept on saying he wants a vibrant opposition.
How does it make sense that public money has been used already and then they dare to sell it back to you? Why are they not giving them for free?
That's how broken we are. That's how broken we are.
They are being sent home now for fees. They're going to fail to prepare. We are compromising the futures of these children.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
And it is exactly 7 minutes after 7 a.m. Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room. On the hot seat at this hour is Francis Masinda, who is a digital systems developer, where we're talking about Guard Your Vote Wanta movement, the launches digital voting platform for 2027 flag bearer, as well as Josphat Kamanya, who is as well steering this ship with me. Francis, karibu sana, how are you?
Asante, I'm great.
How's your Friday?
Friday has just begun. We hope it's going to bring some goodies.
Yeah.
Thanks
All right.
for having me. This is a good place to be. I mean, you guys are doing a good job.
Asante sana. And karibu. Now, what usually happens on the hot seat where you are, right? Every other week we are in a different country. This week we are in a country that is Madagascar. So we go there, we meet with the people, we enjoy their good beaches, sit down with them, enjoy their good foods, chocolates here and there. Unfortunately, it's Friday. Chocolates are over for you. What we have for you today is the proverb, right? But one thing about Madagascar is the fact that 90% of vanilla that is consumed in the world comes from Madagascar.
90%.
90% of vanilla. So it is a vanilla country, pretty much. That's what you're trying to say. And as well as 90% of wildlife that you would enjoy in the country, you can only find it there. So you think about the ring-tailed lemur, you can only find it there. And the lemur we're talking about is King Julian, penguins of Madagascar. That king, you can only see the actual King Julian in Madagascar, nowhere else.
That specific animal?
That specific animal, just in Madagascar.
Interesting.
Just in Madagascar, it does well in the country. They also have baobab trees, so there is it's called an avenue of baobab, where now it defines the country. Once you get in, that's all you see, ushering you in. But you come to Kenya, we are shipping our baobab to some other countries to help their economy. But
baobab is Mabuyu.
That one.
Yes,
Mabuyu,
the
yes.
big one, yes.
That one, yeah. Yeah. But let's go to the proverb. The proverb says, when the village sees the scholar begging and the thief riding a horse, the children begin to question the road to wisdom. How would you interpret it?
I will repeat that again.
When the village sees the scholar begging and the thief riding a horse, the children begin to question the road to wisdom.
Man, that just... It's actually what is happening currently.
Where?
Man, it's what's happening, let's just say in Kenya right now.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, when we were growing up, man, this is going to probably be controversial.
It is what it is, you know.
You know how when we were growing up, we were told education is the key
to success.
All right?
Yes.
But now, we have quote-unquote successful people, because Kenya basically quantifies success in shillings and cents.
Yeah.
And basically that's the currency of thieves. Okay? And we are now in a system of majambazi. I mean, all these quote-unquote successful people are not successful through the right channels. They are not in. We've not seen anything that they have discovered. We can't really tell the industries they are in. Yeah, we are talking. We are praising all these things, all these guys, because of all the affluence they are swimming in. I mean, the opulence that they are displaying. Yet we can't quite tell how it came about. And yet those who are busy trying to get success through the right channels, through education and, you know, working hard, men are suffering. And now the children are actually questioning. So this key that you told me, it's not really opening the doors that we all want to open. They would even question a parent like, Daddy, Mami, I honestly don't want to end up like you. I'd rather be like them. Ushaisikia hii swali tunasemanga, when others were grabbing land, where was your dad?
Where was your grandpa?
So this is what's happening. This is what's happening in the country right now. I don't know about the world, but surely I live in Kenya, so that's what I see.
So you've just interpreted the proverb with the real situation that you experience every day. Well said and well interpreted. But let's go to guard your vote, right? As a systems developer and the development that has gone into technology in terms of guarding the vote, in ensuring that the election is free, fair, verifiable to all to see, so that at the end of the day we have individuals in office who rightfully went through the process and deserve to be there. What struck you to say that I want to come up with a system that will help sanctify the process?
This is the thing. You see, by the time Kenyans go to the polls on the general election to elect a leader, in most cases they are already too late. Okay. Because how did these leaders end up in this ballot paper? Were we involved in getting them there? Okay. For example, if Mr. X is the best leader we could have, and we know he can take this country to the next level, all right, and he doesn't end up in the ballot paper, then we are going to have to choose from the options that will have been available there.
Now, it is important for Kenyans now to be involved in the entire process, starting with the identifying of correct leaders and the eventual processes that will lead them to actually appear on the ballot paper. Now, currently there's this debate of the flag bearer. Okay, for time immemorial, we've had politicians sit in the boardroom and purport to choose a leader for us, and they then decide who is going to end up on the ballot paper. Then when a mwananchi wakes up in the morning on the voting day, all the options you have are those that they decided. Okay? So this process does not start on the voting day. This process starts on the actual identifying of the candidate or the candidates that are going to end up there. Kenyans are woke now. Okay? So gone are the days when politicians and leaders are going to sit somewhere and purport to choose certain people for us. And we know the criteria they use is basically, it's not meritocracy. Okay? So now, in the 2027 contest, people need to understand, is defined as the Kenyan people versus William Ruto, not politicians versus William Ruto. So it is the Kenyan people themselves who ought to identify, to vet and choose the candidate who is going to face off Ruto on their behalf.
I mean, what I'm hearing you, what I'm hearing you say is that over time, the situation has been that a few individuals will sit in a boardroom and select those that would be in these offices to oversee the day-to-day running of the country. That Kenyans have never been given an opportunity to set the agenda, to set the criteria, to set the qualifications, and to set the do's and don'ts when it comes to the election. Because at the end of the day, if at the election day, on the ballot paper, what you see is people that have been set for you on that voting day, you don't have an option at that point. That it's critical for Kenyans to be part and parcel of this process from the word go, not only during voting day.
Yes, the entire process. Yeah.
And now, Masinde, I am just wondering, we are a law-abiding country. We keep calling on upholding the rule of law. The process you have described, which the voter has abdicated, is well enshrined in our constitution. We have the IBC, which is meant to, and also the ORPP, which are like more of the regulators of this process. We also have the EACC, because for you to become an aspirant, there are some clearance agencies that exist. Before even the voter begins to say, you're the person now I'm going to select from the ballot. This process, the political parties have a compliance clause where they should make sure that they are only fronting aspirants that are credible and compliant with the rule of law and all the other provisions. The same then applies for the IBC, that should there be any irregularities anyhow, anywhere, they should strike this person off. The voter has an initial opportunity of screening the would-be candidate during the party primaries, the nomination process. This is where people now go for the contest, whether you are 3 of you or 4 of you going for the same position within the same party. So I find that process well anchored in our constitution. Are you saying that these organizations, these institutions, these laws are not being observed, and hence the need for now to find in my opinion, a secondary method or model of trying to ensure that we end up with credible candidates?
You see, the leaders who go through the party primaries are rarely the presidential candidates. Okay?
Yes.
So and we are in a very unique situation this time round. the country is interestingly unified against one specific individual who's seeking re-election. Okay, so it behooves the entire country to ensure that whoever is going to emerge, the one to represent the people, has the collective buy-in of the people. Okay. Now, these presidential candidates have kind of protected themselves in their cocoons called political parties. All right, where they are the be-all and end-all. All right. If I am the party leader, I'm not going to be subjected through a nomination. It is the rest of you.
It's a direct ticket for you.
It's the rest of you. And now, as you try to understand me, I don't so much have an issue with the governors, senators, women reps, MPs, and MCAs. The crucial seat right now is the head of state, and that is the person we are trying to replace. And for us to identify a candidate to be able to replace this guy, all hands have to be on deck.
Right.
Yeah. I would want actually to subject, my idea would be to subject all these individuals who've offered themselves through a nomination that requires the public to have their say.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that is actually why we came up with this platform. Yeah. It's called the One-Term Digital Election System. You can find it on onetermcandidate.com, where now all Kenyans can come and give their say on whom they believe would represent them well.
So the focus is on the presidential vote.
On the presidential vote.
So how?
So I agree with you on the other processes.
Yeah,
you know, the RPPs, the political parties, and all this, and then the primary and the nomination and all that. But right now, Kenyans are more interested on how do we stop, the plundering of resources in this country, which can only be done by ensuring we replace who is the head.
But Masinde, even as you talk about the plundering of the resources, right? The other agencies as well, or the other elective positions as well, are equally critical. Why do I say that? Because you look at, if we had a parliament that was doing its job, the plundering that we talk about would not be happening because oversight would happen. Right now, if we had a judiciary or the ORPP, or we had an EACC that is clearing individuals, and individuals who end up at the ballot are people who deserve to be there, we would not be in the mess that we are in today. That today the parliament has abdicated its role. It has allowed to be captured. Senate as well. You look at the members of county assembly, they're not doing their jobs at the grassroots level. So one would then ask the question, why don't we just take the system whilst it is looking at the presidential vote and the decision to sort that? If we sort every other election positions that do exist, then we have a model country that respects the law, individuals who are in office who know exactly what they're supposed to do and get to do it. Because I refuse to agree that people who are in these election positions today do not know what they're supposed to do. They have just chosen not to.
You're right. And the system, the onetermcandidate.com, takes care of all positions, from MCA up to the presidential. We just have to go into phases. Right now, starting tomorrow, the people will be going to the site to actually have their say on whom they believe should be the presidential candidate for Kenyans. For Kenyans. This is not affiliated to any political party. This has not been sanctioned by any so-called opposition member. This is a Kenyan initiative. So Kenyans will head on to onetermcandidate.com to pick who they believe should be their candidate. And then after the first vote, which is tomorrow, 25th and 26th, then we will get the top 5, because currently there are 16 candidates who are in
just for the record, it's happening tomorrow.
It's happening from tomorrow. What do you call it? From 6 a.m. tomorrow,
Saturday,
and it closes 6 p.m. on Sunday, on 26th. That is the first vote. Currently there are 16 candidates. From then we will narrow them down to 5.
So how is it supposed to, just to take the would-be participants through? How is it supposed to work? How have you organized it? How have you populated it for people to participate?
I don't know if I'm understanding.
Is it an app? How do I, if I want to vote, where do I go?
You go to your browser.
Is it a link?
Yeah,
is it a browser?
It's onetermcandidate.com.
Okay.
First, you have to register yourself. Yeah. We need to know your details. We need to know which county you come from, which constituency you come from, which ward you come from. And the reason why we are taking these details, and people have really asked, is because for so long, the political class have always relied on what we call opinion polls.
Right.
And Kenyans are always complaining, who are these people who are giving these opinions? Me, I've never been asked these questions by any
Neither have I.
I don't know anybody who's ever been asked. So they just show up with results and then they say, this person is ahead, this person is leading. From where and since when? I didn't give this opinion. So now, for us to be able to know where this opinion is coming from, this is coming from real people. This is Gadoni, who's coming from this county, this ward, this constituency. And then you have to put in your ID number there. Simply because after you've registered, we are going to have to go through a voter verification process. It's honestly, what we've designed is basically IEBC on steroids. It's just that we do not have the mandate to run elections. So now, all these details will be able to ensure that we don't have, you cannot vote more than once. We ensure that there are no bots that are voting, to ensure that it is as credible as it can be. So that's the process. You go there, you register yourself, and then now after you've registered yourself, then you enter the booth. There is a digital booth. So on the 25th, which is tomorrow, 6 in the morning, right now, if you enter the booth, you will see there's a timer. It's telling you how many hours left to go. Before now it goes. So when you go to the booth, 6 in the morning, all the names of the candidates will load up, and then now it's up to you to select. You're selecting your flag bearer, you select your running mate, and then you submit these votes. Now the results are instant. It's like a calculator. 1 plus 1, the calculator will not tell you I'm tallying. It will not tell you give me some time. It will give you the answer.
Are the running mates still part of the one of the 16? Or
yes.
This is
you see how the system is designed. The 16 candidates are the options for the flag bearer. The same 16 candidates are still the options for the running. Because Kenyans sometimes might prefer. Let me use an example of a candidate. Let's say Sifuna, for example. Someone can say, okay, fine, I prefer Sifuna more of a running mate rather than a flag bearer. You see, so he might choose somebody else, let's say maybe Wajakoya, and then he says, I want Sifuna to deputize him. Another Kenyan will feel like, no, I feel like Sifuna should be president, and then Wajakoya should be deputy. So you should have the both names there so that they can be able to choose for themselves. It's not biased. The system will not allow you, obviously, to for someone to deputize himself. If you choose Wajakoya president or Wajakoya deputy, it will tell you no, that's not possible. He cannot try again.
You mentioned verification, so you have a database, so you be verifying.
No, you see now, the people who voluntarily give us this detail, we are not, we don't. It would be against the law to take the database without their consent and slip it in our system. So we want people to voluntarily opt themselves in. So that we now create this database.
Masinde, what this then brings forth, especially in an electioneering period, is an election that is owned by the people.
Yes.
Is an election that is people-centric. It is not an election that is determined in a boardroom and that the people only come in at the last point where they have no say on who should sit there, where they have no say on the qualification or some of the gatekeeping that needs to be done to ensure that people who end up in elective positions are people who will deliver to Kenyans.
Yet,
we look at the Constitution of Kenya, and public participation is so central because people must be included in these processes, whether it is IEBC and how it's clearing, whether it is ORPP giving decisions as to why it cleared Masinde to run. All these informations need to be given to Kenyans, yet we are not seeing that. So with the system that you have created, what is the end goal? Where do we take that information? Who do we share it with? And how do we make so much noise for it to make sense to our EBC, who have the constitutional powers to hold the election?
You see, the IEBC and institutions that are well anchored in the Constitution are supposed to cater for all Kenyans. And you know, as Kenyans, we come from different backgrounds. I mean, people think differently, and it's supposed to accommodate every view of every Kenyan. So it's going to, you know, and they say the best would be to make sure the weakest link is taken care of, and then the rest will actually be taken care of. So the standards can somewhat end up being compromised in our institutional organs, simply because they have to accommodate even the weakest of our people. But then again, it is up to us as Kenyans to set these standards very high, so that once we have taken them through this funnel, we are more likely to end up with people who are actually going to be great leaders once they get to IEBC. Let us sieve them first, so that by the time they are getting to be cleared by what I would call a more tolerable or how can I call it, like a weak system, then let the weak system allow the strongest person in, as opposed to the weak system allowing the weak person in.
So just coming off the World Cup spirit, so you're setting up a friendly match for the people to show up and decide in sort of a preliminary kind of engagement with these aspirants and see whom would you prefer to have as the flag bearer against this regime where everybody is saying must go.
Yes.
Now, sometimes I wonder on a different dimension that we think the voter is so inadequate and so incapacitated that they cannot make that decision independently. That the voter has not suffered enough, because the people who are saying must go, one term, Zakayo Ashuke, Tawe, all these many movements we've had, which are about 9, is the voter. The assumption is that people have suffered enough to make a sound decision this time around. Are you convinced?
They've suffered enough to make
a sound decision this time around without depending on this so-called, it keeps changing formation. It was united opposition, it was the alternative government, it was the coalition of the deputies, without depending on any political legacy politician to sit around in a boardroom and say, this is the person we want. Can the people, out of their own volition, out of the pain points that we are going through today as Kenyans, just snap to the reality that the vote you hold as an individual is what collectively with mine and Dennis and everybody else will determine the next 5 years of our lives?
The people already demonstrated that in 2024.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
Before 2024, majority of Kenyans didn't even know what finance bill was. All right? And they didn't even use the vote. Yeah? They just went to the streets.
Yes.
And at first, I'm sure the establishment believed that nothing would come out of this. They believe that the Mwananchi are so incapacitated to be able to make a decision as powerful as this. And look at what they achieved. The finance bill had to be sent back. You see? So it started in 2024. And it's not even the older folk who did it.
Right.
It's our young guys who went and did that. So we are in a totally different political era. The era of Sijui, all these things that you've mentioned, Ilisha 2024. Now it is totally different. The people are going to decide. You call it friendly match. It is not that friendly. Because in battle they also say friendly fire also kills.
Yeah, true.
Okay? So it's not so friendly because whatever the people will decide will be. Yeah? I know we've faced some very huge resistance from the legacy politicians, simply because, it's understandable. Yeah, change is very difficult to accommodate as it comes. Yeah? So it is understandable because they are hell-bent on still locking themselves in a pantry. Yeah, to decide on who is going to be the president for us. I don't know why they've not learned from 2024, but that is not what's going to happen. And if you force it, you run the risk of your candidate being rejected by the people. Now, this is the question I asked them. If you trust the very people to make that decision on the voting day in 2027, why don't you trust the same people to advise you on this is actually the way you should go? Because you'll depend on them on their vote in the election day. So it behooves them to just involve the Kenyan people, public participation, as you had said, in the process of selecting the flag bearer.
The flag bearer. I think let's take a short commercial break at exactly 33 minutes after 7 a.m. When we come back, we go deeper into the system and how Kenyans can plug into it and make sense of each and every single thing that is happening in there. At exactly 34 minutes after 7 a.m. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Traffic.
And the traffic situation on our roads as we speak at the moment, we look at Thika Road. Things are not looking rosy along Thika Road as you get towards GSU headquarters, Kenya School of Monetary Studies, towards Muthaiga Square there. It is busy and packed up at the moment. It is traffic hour in the city. But let's switch bases and look at the Eastern Bypass. Nothing much to report about along Eastern Bypass as you leave Kangundo Road. But as you get towards, that is Airport North Road, towards Cabanas, it is packed bumper to bumper around Feather Estate towards Manyanja Road. A little bit of traffic, nothing much to report there. But you go to Southern Bypass, it is moving as well. One would say Barabara iko nywe, but you talk about Ngong Road, and Ngong Road is packed up. Traffic can be seen, especially as you head towards the Ngong Road roundabout closer to Kenyatta National Hospital or the Nairobi Funeral Home. Traffic is busy. We shall be updating you how the situation is as the day progresses. But that is the situation on our roads. Is on.
Hi there, it's Yolanda Mulwa. Your mid-mornings just got a lot sweeter. We're celebrating a massive milestone because our friends over at the Karen Hub are turning 10. And they're not just celebrating for a day, they've lined up something incredible every single day from July the 12th to August the 2nd. I'm talking Wellness Wednesdays, Fashion Fridays, exclusive anniversary store offers, and a massive weekend experience you cannot afford to miss. Want to know how you can be a part of the celebration? Then tune in to Sugar and Spice every weekday from 11 a.m. and get all the details.
Have you tuned to the best Kalenjin radio today? Berur FM is the leading Kalenjin radio station in the Rift Valley. We are current, trendy and bold. We bring you bold voices, big conversations, entertainment and blessings every day. Follow us on Facebook, X, TikTok and Instagram for the latest updates and vibes. And don't forget our live stream and YouTube. Berur FM, bold, factual and resonating voices.
Life hack on SpiceFM brought to you by Gentle Care Baby Pants for the unstoppable baby and for the mother who cares.
Gentle Care, wanna keep your baby dry and clean.
Research demonstrates that developmentally appropriate play with parents and peers is a singular opportunity to promote the social, emotional, cognitive, language, and self-regulation skills that build executive function and a pro-social brain. The more time children spend in unstructured quiet play in the toddler and preschool years, the better their self-regulation abilities at ages 4 to 5 and 6 to 7 years.
Life hack on SpiceFM proudly brought to you by Gentle Care Baby Pants. World-class premium comfort diapers that feature quick max absorption technology and zigzag channels that distribute wetness evenly, so there's absolutely no sagging. It's smart, it's premium, and it's affordable. Join the unstoppable journey today. Grab a pack of Gentle Care Baby Pants at your nearest supermarket. Gentle Care Baby Pants for the unstoppable baby and for the mother who cares.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It is exactly 38 minutes after 7 a.m. Welcome back to Kenya's biggest conversation. Dennis Tola, Aseto, Josphat, Kamanya, and Francis Masinde. As we headed to the break, we were talking about how this system then is meant to change things on how Kenyans will have a voice come this election. But as we talk about the system, one thing that you can't run away from is the safety of the system. And with that, then one asks the question, which are some of the parameters that you've put in place to ensure that the system is not compromised? Because remember, even in the previous elections, there have been the Jose Camagos, this system is somewhere in the cloud, maybe in Anyeshewa Uko, it gets compromised, right?
Servers were not opened
as well. What are some of the safety parameters that are there to assure Kenyans that this system can withstand any challenge and guarantees you actual results as given by the people?
Number one, we have put a multiple layered set of securities, digital securities, and as we speak, Dennis, we've been hacked. As of Wednesday last week, it was about 4,800 times. This morning is about 1,200 times. Yeah, but luckily our system is so robust. They keep failing, these hackers. I don't know who is doing this. I don't know if it's the government. I don't know if it's our own politicians themselves, because they try to put their best foot forward one way or another. But it is a very secure system. I know the politicians have expressed concerns. You know, they keep saying that the two-termists are going to infiltrate the system so that they make sure a weak candidate wins. Yeah, and that is not.
Is there a way of detecting and stopping that? Not really.
You see, this is a public participation system. You cannot stop any Kenyan from participating, and there is no tool or instrument, medical or otherwise, that has been devised to test if you are one term or two term. Okay. So every Kenyan is free to come and participate in this process. Go there and select who you believe should fight on your behalf in 2027. There is no one term, two term person here. Yeah, let everyone come and say who they want to be the flag bearer of the one term movement. Also, there is what I had said earlier. There's all these details from the voters themselves. Yeah, these are Kenyans who are going to participate. This system can accommodate millions of voters at a go. Because we were so concerned whether it will crash, but we have made sure that it wouldn't. You know, and we did this because the traditional pollsters, they normally use, according to what I've heard, they normally use a sample size of about 2,000 people. And we've made sure that this system can accommodate up to the millions of Kenyans to come and cast their vote and say who they would want to be their flag bearer. And surely, if you can try and generate a narrative because of 2,000 people, I mean, surely I would really trust a narrative that has been supported by millions of Kenyans, because that would paint for you the true picture of what Kenya is really saying on who should lead them. So we have really made sure that this system is secure. We are iterating it as we go, because we are facing a lot of attacks, but so far we have fended all of them, and the system is still stable.
That's good.
Yes.
Now, what did you say the link is?
onetermcandidate.com.
Yes, because people need to go there.
You want to get into that.
Yes. One term candidate?
onetermcandidate.com. The one term is WANTAM candidate.com. Onetermcandidate.com.
Yes, I found it. Now, even as we go deeper into it and hopefully start voting from tomorrow, from the criteria, the 16, you say there are 16 candidates now. Is there a description of what they stand for, or is it just their names as we know them?
These are the Kenyans who have offered themselves for this.
Right.
You know, you can't force it on anybody. These are the ones who have actually declared that they want to run for this seat. Yeah, we cannot just get somebody from his comfort of his houses to just put them in the system. But these are the people who
have expressed interest that they want to buy.
Of them, they are going to be loaded on the digital ballot paper that you will see on your booth once you enter.
Yes. Is there an opportunity for me to know more about this particular candidate before I vote? Like maybe their service history. Somebody has been in in politics, not for 50 but 40 years. Someone has never ran for office. Is there any description for me to get to know the candidate more? If I'm not fully familiar with all of them.
At the first vote, we believe that these candidates have done some fairly enough running around in the country to at least it's up to them to introduce themselves to people. I mean, if Kenyans go into the booth and they find the name of someone whom they don't know about, then obviously they will not pick that person, and it will not be up to it will not be the Kenyans' fault. It will be the candidate's fault because he has not introduced himself to the Kenyans. But what we are trying to do with this thing, once we do the first vote, which starts tomorrow and Sunday, then we will be able to know who emerges victorious, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
And then we are going to call them for a one-term flag bearer debate. Then now we will start to know what next after one term. What next after saying Ruto must go? We now need to know, are these people going to take us anywhere? Or is it just another political gimmick that we're dealing with here? Now, people are saying, okay, will they come? Well, we cannot force it on them. They might not come, but why would you pass up a chance to talk to Kenyans about what you want to do for them and you really want to run in this election? So now after that debate, then we are going to subject them to a final round through the same system. Those 5 people who will have...
After we hear them, after they show up.
Yes, now the Kenyan now will be able to use their discernment and say, okay, fine, I remember the first time I voted for this guy, now I think I'm changing my mind to this guy. See, these are the processes we need to go through as a country for us to eventually get the leaders that we really require.
Masinde, what I'm hearing as well through this conversation is the system seeks to take the country away from traditional campaigning that we have seen. Why? Because every other time it is, I'll show up at 2 p.m. I'll just say, my lorry is here with the sound system. I want to address the people, and you'll find the people. But here we're talking about a system that allows everybody to come on board and say your intention. And after the intention, you then proceed further to convince the people within the system as to why they should vote for you. Because then through that, we can see the changes with regard to what Kenyans have decided and why they are moving away from candidate X to candidate Y. Because for a very long time, the question that has remained in my mind rather for a very long time is, in all these political rallies that Kenyans do attend, that we go to, what usually is the message? Because there is nothing mind-boggling. It does not scratch your brain to what someone wants to deliver to you. They will come, rile up emotions. Unajua hawa majamaa walituibia and everything else. Lakini ni one term ama ni two term watatutapiga. That's all we hear. But in terms of, I want to build this hospital using these funds to address a certain problem, we never get to hear that. But in a structured manner where Kenyans can listen to your ideologies, what you stand for, your history, your background, how you made your money. Kenyans can then sieve the chaff from the wheat.
You know, it's so funny, Dennis. There's a by-election some time back where a certain team won, and the only punchline I used to hear was wewe nitakuaibisha, wewe nitakutoa nguo. And people voted based on that. You see, so now we have to do better as a country.
Right.
We have to do better as a country. So this system basically, this phase 1 is just to try and narrow down the number
to filter off.
To filter the number based on what has been going around. It's basically just sloganeering. Mimi ni so and so. Tutafanya hivi. Tutakimbiza mtu kama baiskeli ya kuibiwa. All this. So we'll filter using that. There are those candidates who've just been silent. And I mean, I feel for them because I don't think you should at least say something, make people know that you exist. And then now, once we get into a debate, now we'll now be able to separate the wheat from the chaff. And then now people will have a more informed approach when they're doing the second round. And then we will also now, the third is when now we will do all other candidates, the MCAs, the MPs, the women reps, and all that, because we also need to know who these people are.
So, and I think this one, it is commendable. It's a great initiative, I must say, because people need to remain woke, and we also need to acknowledge that it is not public participation. It is civic duty for you as a Kenyan. You're not being involved in a process that you're independent from. Public participation is like, guys, you come, say, decide, then us, we go do.
Yeah.
This is you come, see, say, and do. As the voter, this is civic duty, your obligation to participate, to involve yourself and commit yourself to a process that is going to decide how your taxes are going to be plundered. Because we said plundering is the theme. Now,
we don't want our resources to be plundered.
So if you don't want them to be plundered, come out. Go to this one-term movement.
Onetermcandidate.com.
And start rehearsals, because you're only a year and a week away from the actual ballot. So people need to show up, and indeed, I would encourage everybody to just express your voice. This is your right. This is your civic obligation and duty. But now, this is coined as a one-term movement.
Yes.
Meaning it is all system go towards the outgoing president, William Ruto. Right? So is he on the ballot?
No, because
okay,
William Ruto is on the other side of one term, and he's the only candidate.
Okay.
They don't have to go through any form of contestation on who we should be the candidate. They already have a candidate, and it is Ruto.
Yeah.
It is this other one-term side that we need to organize ourselves. This is now the Kenyan side. You are either on the side of the Kenyans or the side of Ruto.
It's either with us or against us.
That's how. So on the side of Kenyans, it is indeed the Kenyans who should be on the forefront to organize themselves, not the politician. We should be organizing the politicians because they are going to be working for us. They are going to be representing us.
Yes.
We are sending them to war to fight on our behalf. So it is up to us to choose the best warrior to go and fight for us. Warriors themselves can't sit and say and decide for them. No, we are the ones who are going to decide who is going to fight on our behalf.
It would appear you're going to save a lot of people a lot of money, because people are already planning on how to campaign. Other than IBC, which has what 61 billion?
Yes.
And we don't see much of civic education from that. But now, with what you're doing, how capital intensive is this? How sustainable is it?
Wow, it is quite capital intensive, but we are also in the era of technology,
right.
AI and all these things. So it has kind of made it somewhat manageable.
Yeah.
It is a very costly affair, I must admit, and that is why even in the registration process, there's a bit of a cost element.
Because there are many who are actually
asking how much.
Because we are.
How much is that? If I was to fully participate,
what we are doing, it has to be understood very well. You see, we are not just selecting a flag bearer.
Okay.
We are also forming a team that will ensure the flag bearer we decide on is going to win. We are not just going to choose a flag bearer. Dennis, okay, fine, we've chosen Dennis as the flag bearer, and then we go and sleep at home. Then he goes to fight on his own. No. He needs a team around him. He's going to need ward coordinators to coordinate the wards where he's going to go. We are going to need constituency coordinators, county coordinators. We are going to need agents. You're going to need people on your call centers. So this team, it needs concerted effort. So we need to organize this team together, and it takes a lot of resources. So we've put a cost to it. To be a member is I think 100 bob. To be a ward coordinator is 250. Things like that. Now this not only goes to manage the team, it also goes to make sure that, because we have a team that is manning the system as we speak. I'm telling you, we are being there's hacking attempts every day. It is not cheap, so we are really, in a way, we are asking, this is a Kenyan-funded initiative. Remember, even IBC costs billions of shillings
61.1 actually.
And we have run this would be the most secure citizen initiative done, I think, in the history of this country. And it's not going to take take one person to do it.
Masinde, as we talk about this system, what this informs as well is the fact that campaign financing then would be spearheaded by the people.
Yes.
Because through registration, that is donation to what would be campaigns and pretty much handling the elections. You know? And that as well would come to address the problem that Kenyans have been talking about, where now we're being told as a president it's been capped at 4 billion shillings. With 4 billion shillings, we need to be told what is the source of your funds? Where is it coming from? From what bank account did you withdraw it? How did you make that money?
Yes.
You know, but if it's through this process where one can say, through my platform, this is the much Kenyans contributed towards this formation to go towards campaigning. It's easy to trace that and deal with the problem of money laundering, corruption that is in there, and also source of funds that we do not know where it did come from. I mean, that changes the game for many out here, because then on the table, everybody will stand behind their source of funds.
Also, Dennis, you need to be very wary of things that are free. If we were running such a system and it's entirely free, someone somewhere is paying for it. Okay? And that's where those questions like who is really funding it? Because we know to build this system is not free. Someone somewhere is paying you. And there was, I think a week ago, or a few days ago, I saw something going on the social media, almost something similar, where you are voting, and it's like that. So someone somewhere is paying for it. You know, someone somewhere. So this is what we are trying to run away from. And I've been telling these politicians, why fake polls? Because the truth will be seen at the general elections. You know, why do you want to take yourself down the road of depression when you know yourself, you are lying to yourself that you are ahead when you know you're not? You know, let us just hear what the Kenyans have to say. If it is not you, just take it as it is, then just join the team and let us clap for the other person and make sure he gets to that position. Again, as we are building the team, once I select the flag bearer on this system, it is upon me to join the team and to ensure that this person has the highest chance of winning. Because we are in a battle here to change our country, so we don't have protests like we did, which ends up banning the parliament and making us looking good in the looking bad in the global stage.
But then again, sorry, Kamanya, sorry. You see, with all this, as great as it looks, data protection is a concern.
Indeed.
Data security is a concern, because here then you ask for someone's phone number, you ask for their ID, and with that then one is asking the question, why do you need this information, number one? Number two, how do you store it, and after how long do you get rid of it?
This data is for security purposes for the system.
Okay.
To also make sure that the results that this system is going to produce is credible. Because people are going to ask you, I mean, you know, there's someone who will win in this system and someone who will lose.
Yes.
Most likely the person who will lose will tell me, okay, fine,
I don't trust the system.
I don't trust the system. Who are these people who voted? Is it bots who voted? You know, the Kenyans themselves will prove, they will tell you that I voted, I put in my details in there. I was prompted by M-Pesa to pay my membership fee on this, and I paid. See, so the Kenyans themselves will be able to defend the process. Now, about what did you say? Data protection. This data protection now is a law, and we are not selling this data. We are not. I don't know what else we will do with the data. I mean, we're not selling this data. What also this data helps us know. For example, if Dennis, you are one of the candidates in there, after the vote, and say you are the winner of this process, we should be able to come and tell you, Dennis, general election is coming, and from this system, we are able to know that in the Coast Province you're not doing so well. In Nyanza you are doing fine, and that's okay. So you need to go and campaign there. You need to pull up your socks there. It gives us, it will help us help the flag bearer of our choice have an even better chance come general election. We will be able to advise you on how to move around your campaign as yourself and your team, and also us as the team who have actually joined to form the team that we were forming in the registration process. So this data helps us map out where you are strong, where you are weak. Because as you have seen, if you've said you come from such and such a ward and you vote a particular way, then we will know this person is either weak there or strong there. Remember, the goal of this is to be able to defeat Ruto. And for that to happen, we have to get the best candidate and also be able to have the tools to sharpen this flag bearer so that his chances of winning are at their highest. So people should feel secure with their data. We are not selling their data. And as Francis Masinde, the developer of the system, together with an entire team, I am putting my name and my face out there. Should anything happen to your data, I should be the one to be held responsible.
Kamanya, as wind up.
Yeah, as you wind up. So, I mean, it's good to hear that there is little to no room for improper influence, as IBC would refer to it. And I hope the best or the most preferred candidate is the one who comes out in top and informs the decision for the Kenyans. Yes. But do you have agents who are populating the link? You know, how are you going to get more people to know about this who have not heard about it this morning and yet they need to start voting tomorrow morning?
Yes, we've really done our best. You guys are in the media. You know how media is, how expensive media is. We've done, and this is, we are not, if we were being funded by other people, there would be signs. So we've really tried our best to be on various media platforms. We are on social medias. We did a launch on the 14th. We called a stakeholders meeting on the 22nd, even though the legacy politicians shied away from coming. And we've done our best to make sure that as many Kenyans as possible know about this process that begins tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great conversation to have in terms of, as we approach the 2027 general election, a decision and a possibility of Kenyans to make a decision that will befit them and them to be part and parcel of this process. Francis Masinde, digital system developer, asante sana for making time. And it's a conversation definitely that must continue as we get closer to 2027 general election. You say it is how many Sundays remaining? 53 Sundays to go, and Kenyans, an opportunity for you to get out there and make that decision.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the news. I'm Sheila Tembor. A petition seeking to ban National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula and Senate Speaker Amason Kingi from engaging in political activities has been struck out after the High Court ruled it was filed prematurely. Justice David Mboro said the petitioner's Vocal Africa failed to first pursue the dispute resolution process under the Leadership and Integrity Act by lodging a complaint with the EACC. The court also found that the organization had not demonstrated how the two speakers' alleged political activities violated the constitution or justified bypassing the statutory process. Consequently, the court declined to hear the application seeking to stop the two leaders from attending partisan political events.
Number one, the second, fourth, and fifth respondents' preliminary objections dated 15th of July 2026 are hereby upheld. I do hereby find that the petitioner has not demonstrated the applicability of any exception to the doctrine of exhaustion in this matter. So flowing from the foregoing, I hereby come to the inevitable conclusion that the doctrine of exhaustion is applicable in this matter.
A Nakuru court has acquitted Wasingishu Senator Jackson Mandago and two co-accused in the 1.1 billion shillings overseas scholarship case. Senior Chief Magistrate Alois Ndege ruled that the prosecution failed to prove the charges beyond the required legal standard despite calling 138 witnesses.
I thus do hereby dismiss all the charges against the accused persons pursuant to the provision of Section 210 of the Criminal Procedure Code and consequently acquit all of them of the offences of conspiracy to commit a felony, stealing, abuse of office, and forgery, so all their cash bills to be returned back to them. As to count 8, I find no evidence standard to suggest that the third accused seconded the county staff to the trust hearing. It was unanimous from all the witnesses hearing that the program hearing was being operated at the departmental level. Any document produced hearing supporting any appointment to this office was not forensically examined to prove its authenticity. This count therefore fails for lack of proof.
The case involved allegations that hundreds of parents and students were defrauded through an overseas scholarship program launched by Uasin Gishu County during Mandago's tenure as governor. Speaking after the verdict, Mandago called on the county government to revive the scholarship program.
I therefore want to urge the beneficiaries who know themselves and who know they benefited from the program and who are supported and they are enjoying the benefits of the program, that they should speak to their conscience and refund the money to the trust so that those parents who are suffering out there can get their money.
The fundraising payable for the Linda Mwananchi movement linked to Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna was temporarily unavailable yesterday, disrupting donations for about an hour. In a notice to supporters, the movement attributed the disruption to technical issues and said it had contacted a service provider to restore the service as quickly as possible. The outage came hours after President William Ruto criticized Sifuna over his remarks on the affordable housing program.
Kuna watu ambao wanatueleza ati ya kwamba ati wananchi waendelee kukaa kwa slums ati kwa sababu kuku haiwezi kupandishwa ghorofa ya 15. Hawa ni watu wako na akili kweli? Ni mafala, si mafala wale bwana? Mafala sana. Yani unatuambia ati tusifanye affordable housing kwa sababu kuku haiwezi kupelekwa 17th floor. Yani mnatubeba ufala kiasi gani, my friends? Mimi niliwaeleza kuna watu hawana akili. Mtu anaongea hivi hako na akili kweli? Wako na akili kweli?
And Likoni MP Mishi Mboko has criticized DCP leader Rigathi Gachagwa's call for foreign tourists and investors to temporarily suspend visits and investment in the country. Speaking in Kibwezi, Makueni County, Mboko said the remarks could hurt the economy by affecting the tourism sector.
Juzi mumesikia Rigiji akisema ati wale watalii wasije tena Kenya, wale investors wasije tena Kenya. Wale watoto wetu ambao wanafanya kazi kwa mahoteli walikuwa waende wapi? Wale watu wetu wa Kenya ambao wanafanya kazi katika mambo yote ambao yanahusika na mambo ya utalii walikuwa waende wapi? Shame on you, Rigiji.
And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembur.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Presidency is fairly interesting in the sense that it will actually take us to a new consciousness.
Swali zile watu waulizi na swali muuliza na shangala ni aje, kwani huku kunaendaje?
30 billion shillings annually on travel alone in public service.
A Kenyan can even demonstrate every single day of his life that Ruto must go. That is the only message of his demonstration. That is his right.
That bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of those who are in the right.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
I am also a publicly elected official. Okay. My salary is paid by your taxes.
Yes.
So if you need me to answer questions, we will not run away from you.
Asante
We will always be here. The government itself is engaging in corrupt practices. That the government itself deliberately schemes to influence through bribery members of parliament.
You pay for a passport online. Alafu you're told there are no booklets.
I rebuke matters corruption because corruption has brought this country to its knees.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Every time he kept on saying he wants a vibrant opposition.
How does it make sense that public money has been used already and then they dare to sell it back to you? Why are they not giving them for free?
That's how broken we are. That's how broken we are.
They are being sent home now for fees. They're going to fail to prepare. We are compromising the futures of these children.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It is exactly 8 minutes after 8 a.m. Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation. We continue conversing several issues, conversations here that matter. And right now we shall be getting into state accountability, evaluating government action ahead of 2027 and all that, as we will be talking to one Omar Haj, a political analyst, Linda Mwananchi, and Elijah Sawe, ICT director, UDA party. But Kamanya, as we've just established, right? Political campaigning in coming years with what technology we're seeing is doing and new ways of dealing with that, we are seeing that things will take a different change. Things will take a different turn because now it will be a citizen-driven campaign.
Yes,
because one will ask, "You're coming here to give me gas cylinders." But I donated.
I'm the one who donated to
your
your campaign. The terrain is changing.
Yeah.
And I think like any other industry and field, you realize now there is also the involvement of technology.
Yeah.
And the maturity of the participants, unlike before whereby election was just about some people used to call them kiongozi, mtu wetu. If the person has read, we have understood. If the spoken has spoken, we are done,
Yeah.
But now people are realizing, no, I must have my say in this process. And now the use of technology, even IBC itself has embraced technology. We moved from the longer system where you just queue. Today we have now the whole biometric identification, and there is. So I'm very excited, and I'm looking forward to see how this process over the weekend plays out. We see how people really, how woke are we, how ready are we, angry enough to manifest a transformation and join the revolution and create the nation that we truly deserve.
Yeah. Omar Haji is the political analyst, Linda Mwananchi, talking about state accountability, evaluating government action ahead of 2027. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Salama sana, shukuru.
Uko salama?
Yeah.
Kwanza nianze kukueleza ilikuwa ni political analyst, sasa ni MP Langata 2027.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
Yes.
Right. Now, here now is a lot of things that are happening, but you are on the hot seat. But before we get to that, let's go to a country and get their proverb. Today we are in Madagascar. Now, Madagascar is the 4th largest island in the world.
Correct.
Now, when you talk about their coastline is around 5,000 kilometers. So, what 5,000 kilometers means is the same distance as you would travel from London all the way to Dubai. That's how big their coastline is. It is a beautiful country. You want to enjoy their wildlife as a visitor. You can only enjoy the wildlife in Madagascar because you can't find them anywhere else, right? You enjoy vanilla? I personally
vanilla
enjoy
farming, yes, correct.
vanilla, right?
Yeah.
They are the largest producers and exporters of natural vanilla.
Tropical region.
Yes,
correct.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is just a little bit about Madagascar. But let's go to the proverb. When the village sees the scholar begging and the thief riding a horse, the children begin to question the road to wisdom. When the village sees the scholar begging and the thief riding a horse, the children begin to question the road to wisdom. How would you interpret it?
To be honest, it's such a beautiful quote. And I relate it to another quote that I've been reading this week. It says, if good people do nothing, then evil will triumph. You understand? Same kind of thing. Look at it from a different angle, the opposite way, reverse. You understand? So to be honest, we are at that point as a country, and he's very, very right that people have realized, you know what, kama kazi imeshinda hawa watu, tutaichukua sisi wenyewe. I'm seeing very educated people coming on board. I'm seeing very serious people with clear intentions for the Mwananchi coming on board. Whereas even if we sit with the current batch of politicians who are just, looking out for themselves, the way they talk, the way they carry out themselves, it's all selfishness. Right. So you're getting a new breed of selfless leaders coming up and saying, you know what, the world, because he said technology is there. People are seeing how other countries are living and saying, you know what, we also deserve such a life. We also deserve such opportunities. We also deserve such things, such freedom, such, so on. So to be honest, with technology and education, people are more aware about their rights. People know what a constitution is. People know, that if they make a mistake of choosing the wrong leader now, they suffer the consequences for the next 5 years. So to be honest, I'm one of those people who has really been pushing for change on the ground everywhere, and in the protests, I'm one of the casualties who was also shot during the protests, and I realized that that's not the right way to actually bring change. If you really want to bring change, come out from your comfort zone. I'm a businessman, but I'm coming out of my comfort zone. I'm a family man, but I'm coming out of my comfort zone and coming to serve the people for a purpose.
That is well interpreted and dived straight into the conversation. Now, let's talk about state accountability. In each and every single thing that happens in the country, someone has to watch over how things are done, So you talk about funds, Exchequer have given this money. How are you spending the same? We talk about extrajudicial killing. What's the responsibility of the state in assuring that? From where it is you sit, Haj, in terms of state accountability, how has that been? Has the state been accountable to resources? Has it been accountable to security? Has it been accountable to even legislation that is sponsored by government?
To be honest, this is the one of the. In my perspective, this is the one of the most saddest part of our history, rather. Like in terms of we're going back to the days where democracy is a very priced commodity. You understand? So I feel like you have to be very careful, first of all, with your words. Number two is you have to put things as they are at the same time. Hakuna mambo kudanganyana hapa. We have to look at a country and say where we are wrong. Umeelewa? So in terms of accountability, we've seen reports. We've seen the kind of budgets where the weight is being put on which side and not the priority side. Like right now, farmers are really struggling across the country. They're really complaining. I even saw it on news last night, where we're expecting a tough time coming ahead because production is very low. So and this is what even my principal Sifuna always focuses on and says that I agree that we're doing something. That's the taxpayers' money. We are doing something in our country, but what are we doing it for? Accountability is not only about misuse of funds. It's appropriating funds appropriately, putting the money where it deserves to be put. Right now we have bigger issues like education, health, and of course, and that's why we're wondering what are the stadiums for? Well, people, mwananchi ana shilingi kwa mfuko, umeelewa? Youth are employed. 8 out of 10 Kenyan students are dropping out after high school. How are we going to get to Singapore with 8 out of 10 people dropping out after high school?
Are we ever going to get to Singapore?
That's the story. We have to be serious.
Right.
Unajua, at the end of the day, hadithi ni hadithi. Pia sisi kama nchi, we're joking around. When we go to countries and we see 1 million people are doing so much better than a country with 60 million people, I'm wondering what's going on. Because if you have an army of 60 million and an army of 1 million, the 60 million has better chances.
Right.
So, with proper accountability and people who love their country at the top, I believe this country is destined for greatness. We have a lot of blessing in terms of, opportunities. We have a young population, 19 average population. So, all these kind of things really trigger me. But accountability is something that is key. Everything should be open. People should be able to question why it costs 3-4 million to build a toilet. There's some things that are not making sense at all. Ghost workers, like just this time in education, 1.2 billion Kenya shillings was lost and not accounted for, sent to ghost schools, ghost students. You understand? 1.2 billion is enough to finance the entire cohort of 1 million students per year. You understand?
Yeah.
So if we're losing such things, I don't believe coming back to the mwananchi and then taxing them again to get that money for your leakages. It's not fair, to be honest. Let's stop the leakages first and then come back to the mwananchi and look at for more money, or even charge them less, because I believe the leakages, our former President Uhuru Kenyatta used to say that we lose 2 billion Kenya shillings a day. You understand? I wonder how much we're losing now, because it's reflective even on the roads. The corruption level has really gone up, to be honest.
In your opinion, because we lament all the time about challenges.
Correct.
But now we have a golden opportunity of making a fresh mistake, or readjusting and recalibrating and creating new forces that is going to transform our country. In your opinion, how would an accountable regime look like?
an accountable regime, first of all, it starts with them also. Let me tell you where the problem comes in, where people are struggling and there's opulence in government. Like he said, when people watch and see that, you know, the thieves are riding horses and the hardworking men are riding,
are begging.
The scholars are begging.
Yeah. The hardworking are begging. And that's the same situation in our country at the moment. You understand? The villagers are begging. So to be honest, opulence is really killing this country, where people are really showing that, you know, they're making money, and at the bottom people are struggling. So number one. Number two, in terms of accountability, you mentioned, right? Where if you pay for a service, if it's SHA, it should work for you. Not a hit and miss. It works, but sometimes it doesn't. Why should it not end up being contributing? You understand? If you've been paying your taxes, your child deserves the education that is required. You understand? For example, like accountability, we talk about students being told go to school, and they're going to school and they're being kicked out. You understand? Accountability where the school's supposed to be free, but when they go to a school, you hear parents, I'm busy paying bursaries, and I'm wondering why I'm paying it to the head teacher or I'm paying it to the teacher. You understand? Why not pay it to the specific pay bill of the school or whatever it is? So there's a lot of issues, not only at the top level, but throughout the public service. You understand? Where we need to make sure that we have a proper SOP in terms of following, where even, anyone can just go, for example, paying for a passport, you're expecting it to come for within a week. You're told it's coming within a week. It takes a long time. You're told that vetting has been scrapped off. Yet I have so many people still waiting for their passports to be approved. You understand? And then be sent for vetting. So where accountability is where when the court says something, it's supposed to be followed.
Right.
And the government doesn't follow the court, and it expects me as a citizen to follow the court orders, while others are not following court orders. So all these are a part of accountability. Accountability is also where we see live someone shooting a protester, and we're told that guy did not do this thing. You understand? And nothing till today, no justice has been served, and no accountability has been served. So there are many examples that show that we're not here for fairness. We're not here to make it an equal play. It's supposed to be like that, where every life matters, everyone's voice counts.
And yet we have a very robust constitution.
Exactly.
That, unfortunately, or the reality is, can only be implemented by people that we put in office.
Yes.
Because the constitution will continue to be what it is so long as it stays in the shelf. A very good constitution. But just like law, justice is a product of following the rule of law. If we don't follow this, because we know, the president, I'm sure he knows what he should be doing. The governors know what they should be doing. The MPs, and you as the incoming MP of Langata, you know what you're expected to do. You know you should not be handling any CDF as a member of parliament because it is not constitutional. But you see, it has become a campaign tool, CDF, for example. So since we have this very robust constitution, and we have 53 weeks to go to the ballot, and you have now your movement, the Linda Mwananchi movement, what is your message to Kenyans? Because one term, Ruto must go, Zakayo Ashuke, Tawe, all those were movements that have come and gone. What is the message today to Kenyans other than Ruto must go? Because Ruto will go by the collective will of the people, but then what? Our 13 trillion debt does not disappear.
Correct. We were in a fix, and we're even in a worse fix.
So then what? What is the message here?
And that's why I say that you should give it to somebody who loves the country to be able to make sure to make the right decisions on behalf of the country, not on their interest. So what I'm trying to say is, number one, I would tell the people to make sure, if all these virgin and people have just turned 18, people who don't have votes, chukua kadi. Hiyo ni very important. Many people believe that registration is not ongoing. It is very much ongoing. Go to the IEBC office and register. It takes 5-10 minutes, surely. Go and do that. That sends a message to the government as well that we're here for serious matters. And we have to do it as soon as possible. If somebody in your house has not done it, afanye. Kila mtu tushikane, tuambiane kila mtu achukue kura, kwa sababu kura yetu ni sauti yetu. Sidio? Tuanze na hapo. Number 2, look at all the leaders that are running for your particular constituent, for your ward, for your county, for whatever. And I love it. Actually, wherever I go nowadays, people asking me for my manifesto, which I have very clearly, my 5 points. I'm ready to tackle them, and that's all I talk about. So anyway.
I hope bursary is not part of that.
No. Bursary, we're scrapping it off.
Okay.
We have promised free education. If other constituents can do it, then also we can do it. We don't need to hold people as slaves so that they can vote for us. No way. Number 2 is that get to know everyone's agenda for you. What are they here to serve for you? Huyu amekuja biashara ama huyu amekuja kutuangalilia maslahi yetu. Umeelewa? Hiyo ni kitu ya pili. Vet each and every one of them, regardless of party. Let me tell you what gets us into trouble sometimes is because of this 6-piece voting. I don't know what. No. Every candidate should get a proper scrutiny and see that this person deserves. Number 3 is to make sure that you're also studying the pattern and the habits of the person. If this is a person who is outgoing, let me tell you, my brother, I've told my family and my friends, this is the only campaign I'm ever going to run, because once I win this, let my job sell me. You understand? I don't understand why people are still campaigning 4 terms later, 5 terms later.
40 years. We even have 40 years.
What are you campaigning for when you should be doing a good job? So look at someone's track record. See if they have any issues. Whether it's land grabbing, whether it's siphoning money, ghost worker, whatever it is. If anybody has a question mark, my friend, we are not here to bring in thieves again. No way. We want leaders. We don't want dealers. So we want people with a clean and clear track record.
Yeah, I mean, let me just respond to Linda Gola. Linda Gola, the conversation we're having right now is on state accountability, evaluating government action ahead of 2027. And here to have the discussion with us is Omar Haj, and thank you for joining us at this time, Linda Gola. But Haj, even as we talk about state accountability, as we approach, you've said something that is very critical, that you campaigned, you were voted in, with promises that you promised, you gave the people that you would do to them, their deliverables that do exist. At the end of the day, your job should determine whether you're coming back or you're going home, because that is the bare minimum that the people must either renew your contract or not. It's based on performance, right? Yeah. But now here today, we're sitting here and we're looking at state accountability, where affordable, what do we call it? University funding model. This one will sort things out. People complain about it. But yesterday, just the other day, the president says, we are back. We are getting rid of this, and now we will pay. Yet if you go back to even the budget making process, it has not been budgeted for by the National Assembly through the Finance Act. The government never prioritized that it would now change even the funding model. Healthcare, it is working. Kenyans are complaining about it. We're talking about a promise to end abduction and disappearance of Kenyans. It has happened, under your watch, where you promised that would stop being the case. You promised security, that you would secure Kenyans. How are Kenyans finding themselves today? Are they secure? Cost of living, it would be addressed. It has not been addressed. When you look at all these things in 2027, in terms of accountability to the people, where now you're coming back to the people to say, give me another chance to go and provide security, healthcare, education, security, right? What must be done for the political class to realize that the accountability that you're talking about is not necessarily to National Assembly, where they say they will do oversight, but accountability comes from the people, because it is them you promised, and they trusted you with their vote.
They're also trusting you with the taxes, my friend. People can just stop paying taxes if they're seeing that taxes are being misused. You understand? Because at the end of the day, we're the ones paying them, and we're giving them the mandate and the trust that they should be able to use our resources to build a better country for us and manage everything in a better way. But if that money is not being used in the right way, and that's exactly why even there was a statistic, I think like 60% of the parliament will not come back. I can assure you even 90% of the parliament will not come back.
We're hoping for 100, just for the record.
No, there's some guys who are working.
We are hoping for the hope.
Honest people, to be honest.
The hope is 100.
There's some few handful who are there, and to be honest, and I really appreciate them. Unajua, mtu kama Babu Wino, to be honest. Because tukitoka kwa nyumba umekanyaga lami.
Did he vote on the finance bill?
Yes, he voted.
Even
this one. He was there. I was with him and he rushed to the parliament to vote. So these are people that we should not put to the test, but there's some people definitely we should put. People we told them vote no, they voted yes. Wakatutukana pia kwa WhatsApp. You know what I mean? Those are people we'll never forget, my brother.
Right.
We are getting there to them. And in terms of security, you mentioned about accountability. Let's just touch on a few examples out of each and every. In terms of security, it is published by IPOA. This was like a report a month ago. About 149 people were killed by police this year. By police this year. You know, when there's no accountability being done for previous cases, it becomes normal to the police to just kill because they don't find it, you know, there's no consequences to any action they take. You understand? So that's a number one problem. Number two is people are the biggest challenge actually facing my constituent, as much as every ward has their own challenges, whether it's South Sea, High Rise, Karen, Mugumoini, you know, all of them, Nairobi West, they have different challenges. But the unique challenge is that the country has an average age of 19 and people wako kwa mawe, watu wamekaa na wanataka kufanya kazi, hakuna kazi. What does it bring next? Insecurity. How? Goons, stealing, nini, unaona? So all these things are becoming more rampant because people have no jobs. Hawezi kulaumu kijana ambaye anako tayari kufanya kazi na hakuna opportunities. You understand? And these opportunities cannot just fall from the sky, brother. These opportunities are created. I have seen how other countries are doing it. I have seen how people create opportunities. Within Langata, my brother, right now we're building a website to connect people who are looking for jobs and people who need skill. You understand? I've realized there's a big disconnect where to meet these people. First of all, people in Langata, many of them want jobs, but they don't even know how to make a CV. But yet, none of the leaders can come and teach them even to make a CV.
But Haj, having highlighted all those problems, your president said, I think it was yesterday, mimi si wazimu, mimi si vuti, mimi si mlevi, mimi si mjinga, in a manner insinuating that he knows, one, what is going on, what he's doing, and the consequences thereof. Are we too harsh as Kenyans? Are we demanding too much from this regime, from this president? Do we not get it on how we are supposed to be governed? Because we, the governed, are the one who set demands and who voted. Are we demanding too much?
No, we're not.
Are we the ones who are wrong? Are we the ones who sisi ndio wajinga, sisi ndio wazimu?
For the basics bwana. Leo hii Nairobi kuna watu hawana maji.
Right.
Leo hii Nairobi watu hawaendi shule. Leo hii Nairobi hakuna security. Leo hii Nairobi hauna uhuru wa kusema kitu. The basics. We're not asking for a stadium. We're not asking for things that don't make sense.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
We're just asking for the basics. Help mwananchi survive the day-to-day life. Watu hawana hata unasema hand to mouth. Watu sasa hawana hata hiyo hand. Sasa mouth inakaa badala ya kukula inaenda kupiga kelele, inaenda kufanya mambo mengine, umeona? So kitu moja mimi nakwambia, we have to put every leader, not only the president, in check, because these are people who are there to drive this country to the right direction. Si kazi yetu, ni kazi yao. Si ndio? Na kama wana fail kwa kazi yao, na sisi kwa amongst us kuna watu ambao wanaweza fanya kazi, tutaenda tutashikilia hiyo usukani na tuendeshe. We have led businesses to success. We cannot fail to lead this constituents to success. So what I'm trying to tell you is that this thing is intentional. Somebody must have a purpose. Purpose yako ni nini? Kutajirika hapa kuangalia mambo yako vile utajijenga wewe na familia yako, ama utakuja hapa kuangalia maslahi ya wananchi? Uwasikize, usikie wanataka nini na uimplement kitu wanataka. Wewe hauwasikizi. Wewe unataka kufanya vile wewe unataka. Na wananchi wana njaa. Umeelewa? You have to look at it like this is like a child. You're giving this child a Ferrari, you're giving them every privilege, a helicopter, everything, but you're denying them the basic and the most important thing. Umpei chakula, umpei education, umlei, umpatii mapenzi. Umeelewa? Mtoto unapompa tu ukimpea zile basics ambazo anahitaji, si lazima hii nyingine yote. Umeelewa?
A good place to take a break. A good place to take a break, but Ferrari. We take a short commercial break. We'll be back with much more as we look at the traffic and weather right here in Kenya's what do you call it? Kenya's bold newspaper, Standard,
yes.
And biggest conversation as well, the Situation Room.
The only way to start your day.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Traffic.
Let's look at the situation on our roads as we speak at the moment. We look at Landis Road as we head towards Nairobi CBD. Yes, there is traffic. And what you're seeing right there, that is a market. But many have overrun the market and they're now selling on the road. The road has been turned into a market. Nairobi, Sakaja. fanya jambo. But then again, if you look at the roads as well, you look at Makadara, that is Jogo Road, there is a little bit of traffic around Makadara towards Mbotela. As you head towards Landis Road, it is parked up but moving nonetheless. Airport North Road is busy, especially as you get towards the Imara shopping mall. Cabanas area is packed and busy at the moment. Thika Road is busy, especially as you get towards the Pangani underpass is busy around that area, but away from that, it is moving all the way to the CBD. Ngong Road is moving, nothing much to report about other than around the Nairobi Funeral Home roundabout, where we can see a little bit of traffic there. But Ngong Road from the junction all the way, experiencing the new 8 billion shillings overpass. Things are moving. That is the traffic situation on our roads. These are good morning.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room, and Dennis Aseto, Josphat Kamanya, as well as Omar Haj here, having a discussion on state accountability and what must be done towards that. Omar, so here we are. 2027 is with us, whether we like it or not. And the accountability queries that do exist, one asks the question then, what must we do for those that are getting into these offices to remember that at the end of the day, there are promises that were made, the deliverables that must be achieved, that you're not there to be directed by another party, but the people who gave you their vote.
And that's how it's supposed to be. Not the party did not give you the vote. It's the mwananchi that gave you the vote. So regardless of what the party says, at the end of the day, ni kama sisi kidini tunaangalia kwamba kuna, if you want first source of information, it is this book.
Yes.
But if it's not covered there, the second source is this. For example, constitution. Not everything is covered in the constitution, but the second level we can look at now. You know, the former cases, how it was handled,
the judicial
and the judicial jurisprudence. You understand? So that's our second source of information. So the same kind of thing I'm talking about. We need to look at it in that way and see tutafanyaje. Na hao viongozi wanataka uongozi si kitu ya mchezo. You can only come into leadership if you know that you're here for the people. If you're coming in for your own interest, unatafuta laana, my friend. Unatafuta laana. Acha nikwambie, sheria ni mbaya sana. At the end of the day, kama hii constitution iko hapa sasa, kuna mbele boss. Umeelewa? Baada hii dunia, I believe I've always believed in that there's always accountability, na iko siku utalipia kila action utafanya. Umeelewa? So lazima watu waache kufikiria kwamba tutaishi miaka 100. Uangalie vile utaacha impact. People should care about legacy. I don't know why people in Kenya don't care about legacy. I want to be the leader that is remembered that he contributed You understand? See ule leader ambaye hata ukizikwa watu bado wako na machungu na wewe. Unaona?
Yeah, you know, one thing that I know, even as Kamanya gets in, the legacy that we see right now that has existed is legacy politicians. But yes,
that's the only legacy. That's the only legacy we have. People come out and say, I have not been in leadership for 50 years. It is 40 years. That's the correction they make. And then you ask people, and in this case, like I in my opinion, I would cite a person like Kalonzo Musyoka, because he's a presidential aspirant, a person who has been in politics for a long time, a person who has been in this electoral cycle various times, different constitutional dispensation. But today, him and others like him, legacy politicians, he wants to appear as a solution for this country. You don't have to respond to him as a person, but what do you think about these legacy politicians coming up, whom in their submission for candidature, they cannot make a complete sentence without mentioning Gen Z, Ruto, one term, must go. Like you don't hear a clear-cut agenda where you would say, okay, actually this guy has been around for so long, he sounds very competent. And this is what makes me say that experience is not competence.
Correct.
Being around for so long doesn't mean you can do the thing right. What do you say to such things?
Me, let me tell you, like I go back to my first point. I've seen the leaders that succeed, and I've always been admiring leaders that are loved to a point paka watu wanaeka bendera yao nje ya dirisha, not because they're forced but because they love their leader. They put a sticker of their leader on the car. Paka nashangaa, yani huyu leader amefanya nini paka watu wake wanampenda hivi. Umeona, it really makes me want to learn what these people are doing to make the people love them. You understand? Now it's crazy how now when you look at this other side, you find that you're finding it hard to have the appetite to want to be with somebody. You understand? As much as somebody doesn't have a track record, whatever it is, you want to see, you want to feel the person that is going. You want to see a promise for change. You understand? So this is where the difficulty. But what I've seen from a long time back, whether I've been with Sifuna way back, even before Kitengela, you understand? We have seen promise in this kijana. Umeelewa? Imono kijana akona promise. He has what it takes to become a good leader. And all it takes is love for the people. For the people. If it's experience, my brother, you can hire a professional. You don't have to be a doctor to have a hospital, right? And so long as you care, right? To be honest, let's look at it like that. So even if Sifuna, people are saying he's a young man, hatoboi president, anatoboa vizuri sana, my friend. What he has accomplished so far to unite the people and give them hope that there is still a chance and there's still, a better Kenya coming up. It's not an easy task. It's an uphill task. Imagine without money, where we're in a country where, people are saying that he'll not reach because hana finances, kwa sababu sijui hana experience, he's not old enough. He doesn't need finances. He just needs our vote. You understand? What does he need? Just our vote. Number two, he can hire people who can help him in different specialties. He has older people for wisdom. If it's about wisdom, we have Orengo, we have all these other people. So at the end of the day, all these things can be fixed. You just need that one person who loves the country and will not agree that funds are stolen. He will not agree to see the people suffer. He will not agree that the kids are not educated. Somebody who just loves and says, no way this will go on. Fix it.
Now that you mentioned Sifuna, he's still a party, his political party is still ODM. Because none of these people, regardless of what they come and tell you, so long as they were elected and voted in on a party ticket, none of them has resigned. Because if they do, it means they lose the position they are holding today. That's according to the Constitution, 101. So sometimes I wonder, if they so strongly believe in what they're saying, like Sifuna, why can't he just resign from ODM, vacate the senatorial seat, and then proceed with his campaign? Because him remaining a member of the ODM, and this is a conflict I struggle to understand, his own party leader of ODM today is calling for what he said a benevolent dictator for this nation. Though they are having discourse on his SG position and all and being whipped from the Senate. But do you not find that conflicting? If these people believe in what they're saying, like we're saying the concept of Kalonzo, having been around for so long, he doesn't substantiate what he can do for the country, in my opinion. Again, in my opinion, I ask, can persons like Sifuna not just resign from ODM, vacate senatorial position, and now join the cause?
If he was rich, he was rich, believe me, he would have dropped out a long time. Kama angekuwa ameiba, angekuwa kuna pesa, watches timejapo, believe me, he would have resigned now. But let me tell you,
but you know what I say.
Let me tell you the sad truth of our politics.
Right.
It costs a lot of money to run our politics. You understand? Movement, security, PA system, all this is costing money. You understand? Sifuna, and he literally, we're all surviving. It's like you're telling me to quit what I'm doing right now so that I can focus on the leadership of the people. I cannot quit this. Still, I'm sure that I have a seat and now I have a full mandate to serve the people. Then I can, kwa sababu nitalishaje familia yangu nyumbani, nitaendeleaje na hii kazi ambayo tunafanya bila hiyo mshahara ambayo anategemea. Umeelewa? So pia lazima tukue understanding in a way that if he loses his position, first of all, it's even more dangerous because he will not be in Senate now to even talk about the issues that he is talking about at the moment. You understand? So you look at the bigger picture where, okay, I'm with these guys, but let's just finish this 1 year and be able to bring the real change that we need. So to be honest, kama angekuwa nado, believe me, angekuwa ametoka kitambo.
But it's not even a question of money. It's a question of fidelity to the people. Because I look at, you were elected to that position through this party that had certain vision or ideologies. It has gotten to a point where the ideologies that you stand for, right, contradict that which the party is now pushing at that particular moment. Therefore, there is that contradiction on the party that put me here is pushing different things. Whether you like it or not, today Sifuna remains being the senator elected through ODM, right?
Correct.
But he does not push the agenda of the party anymore. The sensible thing to do in a democracy that has matured is step out, let the people decide whether they still want you there based off your performance and deliverables. That is the accountability that you're talking about here.
No, I mean, let me tell you, I mean, I agree. That's the highest level. I mean, even that's the kind of accountability where Prime Minister resigns because the train arrived late on time. You understand? They're the kind of accountability. But do we have that accountability from top to bottom in Kenya? No. I mean, with all these killings that have happened, I mean, in another country, for sure, even a president would have resigned in a very mature democratic. So in a country where, to be honest, if he does that, in fact, he's exposing the Mwananchi even more. But you understand? I think even the voting that happened in Senate, he would have not voted.
What Dennis is alluding to, and I tend to agree. If anybody resign, doesn't have to be Sifuna. It can also be Metho, Senator Metho, because he belongs to UDA. Senator Metho is not a member of DCP. Why can they just resign? Because in 90 days, they'll go back to the ballot. Okay, people will decide. As provided for by the Constitution, and the people will decide if this is a person we want, the person we feel is accountable enough to advocate for us. They'll vote them in, even on an independent candidate or any other political party. That's the level of accountability we are seeking, because self-preservation is what sustained colonialism. If we are to expound that concept, people are saying, if Muzungu goes, how are we going to survive? You saw the case in South Africa. They said, no, if you give this country to Africans, it's going to be run down. You understand? So the concept of self-preservation is very selfish in its own nature. But the people who have been able to see a revolution go through, you can talk of, the Cuban Revolution is the most popular. People gave up their own personal desires. Today, everybody dons Che Guevara's attire. But the sacrifices the man made, personal sacrifices, if he had said, no, I want to stay with my wife or my kids, he would not have conquered what he did. Remember, he even declined a position in Cuba to proceed to Argentina and other countries. I don't want to proceed on that, but you get the concept. Why is it we do not have people who are committed to the cause of liberating this country like the freedom fighters did? The people who fought for the second dispensation, the Constitution, in the late 80s, early 90s, there are many, but the person who always comes to my mind is Reverend Timothy Njoya. The guy was part of clergy, he had a job, but you'd come to the streets and we saw him being beaten, among many other people. They made those personal sacrifices because they believed in the cause. So sometimes I wonder, is this just pure rhetoric we see from people seeking political expediency, that they cannot simply resign from a position which they can still contest for within 90 days?
Because then again, let me just add, because then again, if Sifuna says that his greatest example is Raila Odinga resigned at one point in time and said, I do not believe and trust that I go with this ideology. If that's an example that was set, why not set it?
No, I agree. And the thing is, you have to look at each and every case in its own instance. You understand? Each and every instance. Kama sasa utaniambia mbona sikumpiga ule mwizi. Sikumpiga kwa sababu ningempiga kulikuwa na wezi wengine wangeniattack. Umeelewa? So sometimes there's a third angle which we don't see that they see because he's the one in that position. You understand? And he knows. And I'm sure Sifuna always stands for what is right. Believe me, as a person and also as a leader. And I can assure you that he would have done this if it eats him up. At ODM, nobody wants to be associated with the ODM. I mean, at the moment, why? I mean, I was a diehard of ODM. I loved Baba so much, but I don't agree with the principles of ODM anymore. Why? Because ODM spoke truth to power. ODM meant democracy. ODM, in the past would always field a presidential candidate. Now all of a sudden they can't. So I feel like this is not the ODM, and we all defected along with Sifuna because we felt like we still have to carry on with the spirit of ODM, where the democracy was handed over to the Mwananchi. But now it's different. So the guy is really assessing, and by him staying as the SG of, it's like you're saying, why didn't he retire? Why did he resign from ODM? Let us give these guys a tough time. You understand? It's political. Let us give these guys a tough time.
Okay.
While we arrange ourselves and move on with our current, the real spirit of ODM. So to be honest, there's some things you look at from your angle, you see it's bad, but from our side, we're looking at it as a strategy sometimes, and sometimes we even agree to lose a battle. Some of these elections that they're celebrating wins. It's because we agreed to lose a battle, but we are ready to win the war.
You see, every campaigning period or election period, Kenyans will be given humongous promises. I'll just take you back to Olkalao. People were promised, and it was actually delivered. And it was delivered. You go to Mbere as well, there were promises. Transformers that were later removed anyway. You know what I mean? But you look at these promises that Kenyans are given, and one asks the question: are they just promises because we want to get to office, or is there intent to deliver on these promises? Because where Kenyans sit today, Kenyans are asking, this is what you said, but this is what you're doing. Has there ever occurred to those in that political space that promises are meant to be kept? Hata Waswahili wanasema dawa deni ni,
and this is something that wewe mwenyewe umeona, like hii serikali imekuwa ikipeana ma promises one after the other, launching and relaunching of projects. Hata hii mambo ya education unasikia, why is it being done now? Because elections coming up. So at the end of the day, it's all optics, how they want it to be. Like you mentioned it, in Bere, where the transformers were even removed. Half of these privileges you're being announced for will be removed after getting into
they went for servicing.
Oh, they went for servicing. As Jarudi bado. Jarudi too. It's Jarudi time election has tender servicing by the election. So you see what I'm trying to say is, let us be serious. This accountability that we're talking about is the same accountability that we're seeing even in this side, where even unfortunately we saw a lot of police officers and all that. They say that it's not the police, but even the investigation by the TV shows it all. So basically, these are people interfering with the normal process of the election, and still they lost. You understand? So at the end of the day, the vote ndo itaongea. Umeelewa? Na same thing in Langata. Imagine you're finding someone running for MP who has spent 200-300 million already. Where are these people going to recoup that money from? Umeelewa? Lazima pia tuelewe, because it's not charity. You understand? You cannot spend more than what you'll recoup in the entire 5 years before even the election. You understand? So you need to be smart and look at such situations and see, okay, there's nobody here going to lose that money. You understand? So you have to be careful and see who is the right person and give that leadership to the right people, the right team. So at the end of the day, yangu ni kusema tu mwananchi ndio ameshika kura, lakini mimi ni kuhimiza kila mwananchi kuchukua kadi yao, upige kura kulingana na sera ya mtu na tabia yake, na pia uangalie rules zake. Ukienda kuoa bibi, unaoa bibi tu kwa sababu umekutana naye town na umemwona ni supu. Unaangalia paka familia yake, babake ni mwizi, ex. Umeelewa? Live. Juu acha nikwambie bana. These things, me I'm seeing it. Like you find someone's father was a thief, amekuja tena naye pia ni mwizi. Unashangaa sasa, where we put in the same people in line. You understand? So you look at the record of the people. To be honest, when you're marrying a woman, look at her tabia, her family, how she deals with this, same thing.
There's a question that is asked often, that mwananchi knows what is right and wrong.
Correct.
There's an example that was given here the other day, that when you are keying in your M-Pesa PIN, you will key in the correct PIN, because if you key in the wrong PIN,
it's a block.
Yes. You know what is right, what is wrong. You know that when you want to cross the road, you have to look right, left. If it's clear, you cross, right?
Correct.
You know very well that these leaders, this person who has, he doesn't like it when you call them leaders, these
servants,
these
are employees.
This employee who's coming here asking for my vote, right? Is not a good person. Why? Because EACC has spoken. They have been investigated before. But then again, Mwananchi still proceeds forward and gives them the vote. So when we're asking for accountability, I mean, even Mwananchi as well are the ones who receive bribes. So when you talk about accountability, do Mwananchi shoot themselves on the leg when they themselves participate in wrongdoing?
But you see, the thing is, you ask yourself, why is the Mwananchi in that position in the first place? Kama hana, na hiyo ndo hasoli iko leo. Kusema ukweli, mimi hata jana niko na watu walienda State House kuchukua empowerment, na ni watu wangu mbaya sana. Umeelewa? Wanakula, mimi sina shida wakienda kula, wacha wakule boss. At the end of the day, they are getting something and I'm happy that my people are getting something.
But
at the end of the day,
Haj. Isn't that what you'd call political haram? In this sense.
So what I'm telling you is, I'm happy that they're taking what belongs to them. You understand? But I don't encourage it. Sijui kama umeelewa. Kama unaona kiongozi ambaye anakuja na kupatia sera na hakuji na hiyo gia, huyo mwanzo unafaa umwangalie vizuri, kwa sababu huyo hajakuja kununua kura yako, amekuja kuomba na kukuelezea kwa nini anahitaji kura yako. Lakini kama mtu anakuja na kupea gas na hata ana story naye, kuja upange line, pita, chukua, surely you can already put a question mark and say this person is buying my vote. So get that and still don't vote, because that money is yours, especially if it's a current leader. Umeelewa?
Well, I do hear that.
So you're saying that entirely we should not go and take it? Sure.
It's a question we are asking, because at the end of the day, if we say we don't agree with what these people stand for, if we say we don't subscribe to their ideology, if we say we do not want to vote them in, if we say the money they're giving us is our money,
stolen from us.
That's the reason why you have pothole. That's why you have garbage uncollected in your constituency and in your estate. Now, this is the point. This is why we are saying we should change ourselves as voters. Because if, for example, today, the outgoing president, William Ruto, called for an event to State House, which we know is a campaign event, is not a state event, and people refuse to show up because they do not agree to his doings as a president, I think that would be a stronger message than going and collecting the money. And the same applies. The same applies also to any other politician, any other aspirant who will go for a meeting, and you know this person who do not subscribe to the ideology, don't show up. Because people show up, they take the money, then they distract the meeting. This is how we end up with the loss of lives. If you don't show up, the person will understand, I do not have any ground, as people say. Therefore, they either strategize or withdraw.
We have to educate the people. That's a very good angle to look at it from. But the problem, it needs a lot of participation and 100% of the participation. Juu ukiona umekata kwenda kuchukua 10k na hapo wewe una watu wengine wameenda, unaona jo ile pesa mimi ningekuwa nimeenda ningemaliza shida zangu za rent. Umeelewa? Look at it from that perspective. Kama pia mtu hana kitu, umeelewa, na nasikia kuna gawanywa 10 boss.
But again, Haj, because you are an aspiring member of parliament, as you teach them, this is what I argue. My argument is this: poverty is a social construct, is something that is created and sustained, because they know exactly what you're saying, that people are hungry. People, you say they don't have the hand, now only the mouth. You know, the survival mode. Everybody's in survival mode. Everybody is in debt, drowning in debt. Companies are closing. So the economic situation is doing badly. Even families are collapsing because spouses are not able to manage the homestead. So they do know this fact. And that's why they're using that as a campaign tool. They're taking our pain points. They will listen. They'll show up for a Harambe. An MP will show up and give $1 million or 2 or 3.
Or 10.
A deputy president will show up in a Harambe fundraising for whatever projects, church or otherwise, give 5 million and say I've been sent by a president with 10 million. Yet the health system that is meant to safeguard that person who does not have gas, who is struggling to pay rent, is not working. If we say no has to be a complete sentence.
Correct.
You don't go to pick handouts because we want you so gone.
We need 100%
what do you
of
think?
That will give us a beautiful country. Let me tell you, that will give us the best leadership. And with a 60 million population, I think we will go very, very far with good accountability. So to be honest, that's really great, and I agree with you. But again, well, there is why the bitterness comes in. Why I say that go kula ni kwa sababu these are current leaders who we know very well wame grab land, wamekula pesa, umeelewa. Kuna watu wengine ambao tunawajua like I'd rather they get just punished and that money goes away. Because at the end of the day, the voter must remember that when you're going to cast your vote, it is wewe na Mwenyezi Mungu na karatasi yako. Umeelewa? Wewe, Mwenyezi Mungu na baloti yako. Jamii, nataka umekula pesa mtu, si deni, ni haki yako. Piga tick mahali unaona mtu ataleta maendeleo in the next 5 years. That way, as a country, we will go forward. So my advice is, as we try to move towards zero tolerance on these things, you know that even my political strategy, I don't hand out like that. That's very madarau. Unalipa watu hivi ni kama sitakusema, but it's very bad. Umeelewa? But the same thing, it's not right. But at the same time, watu wakipata na wakisaidika waweze kupush hii mwaka moja, lakini time ya election ukipatiwa hiyo ballot yako jamani. Please make sure, regardless of political position, because something that wananchi don't understand, kuna kitu inaitwa zoning. Unapata kama wewe umeambiwa piga ODM, alafu huko chini umewekewa watu wengine ambao hata hawana maana, ama huko juu umewekewa mtu hana maana, but because wewe ni strong ODM utavote all the 6 ODM and unatuleta kwa mashaka. Umeelewa? Kwa sababu mtu amenunua tikiti na ameingia. Umeelewa? So those are the things that, by the way, I really don't agree with that party and I left because of that. Umeelewa? Zoning is a really big problem. So mwananchi should not also be cheated by the party. I'm from a party that I love so much, but I know and I'm sure that my president Sifuna ataelektiwa, najua governor wangu ataelektiwa kwa sababu ya track record na kazi wamefanya. Si lazima hata niwapigie campaign. Wao wenyewe watashika hiki kitu. So si lazima, na hata kama unaona hawajafanya kazi, usipigie kura, mpigie yule ambaye unaona anafanya kazi. Kwa ufupi, let's make the right decision. Now ukiona mimi nitachapa job, I'm here to serve. If you feel like I'm here for business, then that's a shame, because that's not the case.
Omar, as we get to the election, because time is also not on our side. Correct. As we get to 2027, elections have and must be people-centric, because the people have spoken for the past 4 years. Based off the track record that exists, Mwananchi is the one who will decide how we are moving forward. Either we're going right or we're going left. It is Mwananchi who will communicate on that ballot. Moving forward, how then do Mwananchi set the agenda for the political class to follow? Not the other way around.
Very important. Number one, I think it's so important that debates are started to be arranged as soon as possible. And if any leader doesn't attempt to join the debate, that leader should not be chosen. If you don't choose to be in the debate, it means you will not go to parliament. You understand? Or it means you will not. So it's so important that everybody comes in and debates. And town halls should be held. If it's about MCA, wapige hizo ma debate, watu, and even the public should participate and show interest. Na karanga hawa watu bana. We should be thoroughly examined to see right, left, center. Wewe ukiingia airport unaangaliwa na unakaguliwa vizuri mpaka kwa mfuko, saa zingine hata huko mwanzo unaambiwa tero mzee, piga mtu tero mzee, shika kanyaga shingo, vunja mguu. Make sure that this is the best leader. That's number one. Educate. Number two, as the public, let us educate people who don't know about voting, the importance of voting, wenda wakachukue kura. Bila hiyo, sahi majenzi wanaambiwa wajenzi wanapiganga kelele na hawana kura. Surely, jenzi mtakubali kuambiwa kwamba nyinyi mnapiga kelele na hamuna kura. Kachukueni hizo kura, watu wajue bana si mchezo. Umeelewa? And actually, I've seen that. So basically, tuangalia hawa watu ambao tuhakikishe tuna sensitize, tuhakikishe watu mambo ya bribery na nini, educate each other. Even what you guys are doing as media, bringing in such leaders to see, that's amazing. So yangu ni kusema kwamba Langata niko tayari kuwa serve. Ni Haji munahitaji, mimi ni kijana wenu wa South Sea na niko tayari kuwapeleka mbali sana. Shukran na Mungu awabariki.
All the best. Omar Haji, political analyst, Linda Mwananchi, and also aspirant Langata constituency camp 2027. State accountability. What is the responsibility of Mwananchi? What will he say come 2027 at exactly 9 a.m. time for Newswire with Sheila Tembur. Good morning.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the news. I'm Sheila Tembur. The Commission on Administrative Justice has called for urgent talks between the Judiciary, Judicial Service Commission and the Legal Society of Kenya to address concerns over alleged maladministration in the justice sector. In a statement, the Commission warned that failure to resolve the issues could undermine public confidence and access to justice. The advisory follows the LSK's nationwide boycott of court proceedings over concerns including corruption, case delays, administrative challenges, and problems with digital court services. CAJ recommended stronger complaint handling, improved case management, and closer cooperation among justice sector institutions. The High Court has declined to suspend the 5 trillion shillings National Infrastructure Fund, allowing the government to continue implementing the infrastructure financing program. However, Justice Patricia Nyaundi directed the National Treasury to submit certified accounts and transaction reports detailing how the funds has been established, managed, and utilized. The Treasury has 30 days to file the records, with additional reports required every 3 months until the petition challenging the fund is determined. The court said the petition raises constitutional questions but ruled that suspending the fund before a full hearing would not be appropriate. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has dismissed as fake a letter circulating online that purportedly sought integrity vetting of individuals nominated for cabinet positions. The commission said the document, allegedly from the National Assembly and addressed to its CEO Abdi Mohamud, was not genuine and shared a copy marked fake. The forged letter listed several individuals for cabinet nominees and claimed the EACC had been requested to review their suitability for public office. The agency's clarification comes amid rising cases of fake government documents being circulated online. To other news, Kibwezi West MP Mwengi Mutuse has renewed calls for Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka to leave the opposition and join the government. Speaking at Kiaoni Market in Kibwezi, Mutuse claimed recent remarks by opposition leaders suggest Kalonzo may not receive the coalition's presidential ticket ahead of next year's general election. Aside, the Kenya Kwanza administration remains open to welcoming Kalonzo.
Na tunataka tumuulize ndugu yetu Kalonzo ajifundishe kuona mbali. Hawa jamaa tayari wamempangia, ndio wameanza kuongea ile mambo, wanasema ati kwamba wanataka yule ambaye ako na pesa nyingi na kwamba hawataki yule ambaye ako na experience na umri mkubwa. Hiyo ni kusema kwamba hawataki Kalonzo. Tunataka tumuulize Kalonzo mara ya pili tukiwa hapa, kabla mlango ya William Ruto ijafungwa, njoo tufanye kazi pamoja. Kwa sababu hawa jamaa wakati wa Kibaki walikubetray. You were number 2 to Kibaki, and Kibaki had promised kwamba atakuunga mkono. They betrayed you. Sasa tena wanairudia, na wanairudia mchana.
A 15-year-old grade 10 student who was killed by a crocodile while fetching water from the Athi River in Kibwezi, Makueni County is being buried today at her home in Dalani village. The incident has sparked calls from residents for action against rising human-wildlife conflicts, with locals accusing the KWS of failing to prevent repeated crocodile attacks in the area. Speaking during a visit to the area, Presidential Aide Farouk Kibet urged KWS to develop lasting solutions to address the problem.
Mambo ya wanyama borini hapa inaangamiza wananchi. Mambo ya elephant, mamba, hii mamba kwanza ichukuliwe iende ipatiwe fence, iwache kukula watu hapo kambani. Mambo ya ndovu kuangamiza watoto na watu wazee. Tungetaka tuambie watu ya KWS kama marafiki na watu ambaye ni washiriki kubwa wa serikali kwamba mchukue tahadhari kwamba wananchi hapa wanaumia.
And the new UN report shows that healthy food in Kenya is more expensive than the African and global averages, leaving millions unable to afford nutritious meals. The State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2026 report says a healthy diet in Kenya costs about 582 shillings per person daily, compared to the African average of $4.35. The report estimates that 76.3% of Kenyans cannot afford a healthy diet, with high prices of fruits, vegetables, and animal-based foods driving the cost. The UN has called for increased investment in agriculture, better food storage, and policies to make nutritious foods more affordable. And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembor.
.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Every time he kept on saying he wants a vibrant opposition.
How does it make sense that public money has been used already and then they dare to sell it back to you? Why they're not giving them for free?
That's how broken we are. That's how broken we are.
They're being sent home now for fees. They're going to fail to prepare. We are compromising the futures of these children.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
If we just gloss over issues and hope that time heals, then we might find that in generations to come, we might be back at the same situation. And the whole thing is born of stolen elections.
Spice.
When it comes to the decisions you make, you must be independent. There's no way you can allow one institution to dictate to you how you're going to conduct your operations, how you're going to decide cases. It's a no.
When you weaken the institution to the point where they cannot take action, then you realize that politicians have to come up and now start dealing with the issues.
That conversation has to die. Our politicians do not like the hard stuff. We must insist on the path of doing things right, whether popular or unpopular.
Money changes hands. That is a fact. If you have political goodwill at the highest top, like in Rwanda, then corruption will be an issue of the past. If you don't have political goodwill at the top, we will pass laws, we will amend laws, we will continue passing laws and re-amending laws, and nothing will happen.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
You have land, Dennis. Okay, your own land. You use your own money to build it, and then you sell it to yourself.
But we don't want foreign troops on Kenyan soil.
But surely it goes a little bit deeper. This is it. If you find the tree is withering, then you call the person who is managing that tree. Come around. Why? Tell me what is first of all, what's the problem?
Yes, what is the problem there?
How do we expect ourselves to move forward as a country?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
And welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room, at exactly 8 minutes after 9 a.m. We continue with the conversations in the house together with Josphat Kamanya as we continue to steer this ship. Ndu Oko is not in today. She's having, the weather is here. She's under the weather, but she's going to be back. She's going to be back. Ametuma salamu. She's easy. We talked earlier and anasema she's okay. She's following the conversation. And that all is well. We need to just be there for her, sit with her, and remember that she is gonna be okay. Now, this hour we shall be having our Health Friday conversation, where the conversation we shall be having this morning is on fighting hepatitis. Now, a breakdown of Kenya's viral hepatitis response and the roadmap to sustainable health outcomes. A critical conversation that we must have, because one would say we are late to having this conversation. We are late to the party. And to have this conversation with us is Dr. Hadija Hassan, who is an MPhil, MC in International Public Health, FLP. Karibu sana.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, karibu. Now, Daktari, before we get straight into the conversation, we usually travel across the continent, different countries, and we come back with their proverbs. This week we happen to be in Madagascar, beautiful country. When you get in, there is the avenue of baobab that characterizes the country. Their wildlife can only be enjoyed in that country. They can only survive there. You talk about vanilla. If you are a lover of vanilla, they are the largest producers and exporters of that across the world. Their shoreline is 500 kilometers long because it is the fourth largest island in the world. So it is 5,000 kilometers, which would be a distance if you're traveling from London to Dubai. That is their coastline. But the proverb that you get from them this morning, when the village sees the scholar begging and the thief riding a horse, the children begin to question the road to wisdom. When the village sees the scholar begging and the thief riding a horse, the children begin to question the road to wisdom. How would you interpret it?
I will interpret it as, however vast it is, there is something that can be done, and something that encloses everyone, and the life of the people who live in that vast is pegged to the government of the day.
Meskia government.
Yes, I've had government.
And how vast
of
it
the
is.
day. Oh, yes.
It's pegged to the government of the day. Something can be done. Very interesting. And Asante Daktari. Let's talk about hepatitis, a disease in the country, the prevalence of the same, and where we are as a country. That's the question. Where are we as a country when it comes to addressing and dealing with hepatitis disease in Kenya?
Before I delve into your question, let me just bring a perspective what hepatitis is. Hepatitis is an inflammation of the liver parenchyma or the liver lining.
Okay.
And it can be caused by several causes, including other infections like bacteria, alcoholic, but the most is viral hepatitis. And we talk of viral hepatitis, we have 5 different types characterized today. We have hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E. It's important to note that hepatitis A and E are enteric, meaning that the route of transmission is orophycal, that you can get from contaminated food and water. When you come to B and C, which is of interest in Ministry of Health Kenya, it's because it can be transmitted by infected blood and body fluids. And also, more importantly, the other 2, A and E, are self-limiting. But B and C can cause chronic infections. And it can lead to liver damage and premature death as well. So, to your answer where we are, let me also again start globally. This is a silent epidemic that is causing public health threat, which is acknowledged by the WHO. We have millions of people living with chronic hepatitis, and of those, very few know they are infected. And we only have a few of them, like 13% of the 287 million who live with chronic hepatitis that are on treatment. And a few of them know that they are, because we are calling it a silent epidemic. By the time you come to know that you have viral hepatitis, it means that your liver damage is advanced. You're already into cirrhosis and to hepatocellular carcinoma. Hepatocellular carcinoma is a cancer of the liver, which is second leading cause of death globally. And the epidemiology now, to answer your question, mirrors, the Kenyan epidemiology mirrors that of the world or global, where we have a pooled prevalence according to CAMFIA 2018 of 3% in the country. However, we have regionally some regions with high burden, like northern part of Kenya with 7.6%. We also have Nyanza region 4.6%, and we also have the North Rift, which has also over 5%. But again, if you go to county by county, there are counties which are reporting very high burden. Start with Turkana, 16.8%. Come to Baringo, 11.8%. And we also have, those are for hepatitis B, majorly. And then we have the Nyanza region, which has co-infection, that is HIV with hepatitis. We're also reporting very high. And then when we go to the coastal region, we have hepatitis C, which is mainly acquired through blood by using shared needles and syringes with those who inject drugs. And then we have Lamu, 29%, and Mombasa, around 26%, and Nairobi, because of its cosmopolitan dwelling, we have around 12%.
No, Daktari, those are very alarming statistics you're giving, because it means we have scores of people walking around with a major organ that is not functioning as it should. And I think liver is one of, all organs are vital, but liver is one of the most vital organs that you need functioning for you to be at your optimal health. Now, you mentioned the types of the hepatitis. And you mentioned that there is the oral fecal, and then the other one through, body fluids exchange. So, especially on the oral fecal cause of hepatitis, it sounds like something we can avoid. It sounds like something government, institutions, communities, families, individuals can do something about. How have we grown to such high scale of prevalence, given the statistics you have mentioned? Yet, I would imagine there are organizations, ministries, agencies that understand the causative agents of this disease, and therefore they can have some mitigating measures, but we don't have that in existence.
Yeah, thank you. Let me correct something. Hepatitis A and E, I said, is oral fecal.
Right.
It's self-limiting. We have vaccines for A, but you don't have vaccines for E.
Okay.
They are self-limiting, meaning that they cause acute, and the body can take care of them. You don't need to worry about putting people on treatment.
Okay.
And I went ahead to say, as a ministry, we concerned with hepatitis B and C because these are the ones which cause liver damage.
Okay.
They can lead to chronicity. And you live without symptoms to 20 to 30 years before you get the symptoms like jaundice. And by the time you are coming with those symptoms, your liver damage is advanced. Yes.
Daktari, with just the stats that you've given, one would then look at perhaps initiatives that have been put in place in terms of if it's vaccination being one way to address the problem, right? But then again, even before we get there, for individuals who have poor seeking behavior, tend to appear before doctors at the last tail end when the disease is finally has permanently put them on bed because then their organs are failing. How would you address ourselves to poor seeking behavior and how it is leading to more disease burden in the areas that you mentioned?
So public awareness is one of them, using the communities to create awareness. And that's why we have days like World Hepatitis Day, to create awareness.
When is that?
Screening.
When is the day?
On 28th of July, this year we are commemorating it in Baringo County. And as we speak, testing and awareness began a week ago, and we are intensifying that. But to answer your question, as the Ministry of Health through NASCOP and the VH section, we are mandated to provide guidelines on the treatment of hepatitis. And recently we have launched the integrated guidelines for HIV, hepatitis, and STI, which gives guidance on how to approach, giving an entire package, continuum of care, starting from awareness, screening, testing to diagnose, and also linkage to care. We are embedded in the HIV, which is a robust, well-defined, grown, mature program. And as we're approaching integration, the viral hepatitis, we want to leverage on existing platforms to ensure that there is screening. And more importantly, the mother-to-child transmission of hepatitis B is the one which is the driver for chronic hepatitis, because 90% of those kids who acquire in infancy will transition to chronicity. So what the ministry through NASCOP, what we have done is to ensure that each mother who comes to our antenatal clinic, or those mothers who are pregnant and come to our antenatal clinic, get to be screened for the 3 diseases, because we have an entire section that deals with triple elimination of HIV, hepatitis, as well as STI. And they are tested. And once you test positive for hepatitis B, you are now put on prophylaxis to prevent the child, to prevent the future generation. But the mother also, as an individual, has to be checked whether she's eligible for treatment. So you start with herself and put. And once now she comes back to the hospital again or the facility to deliver, we do have the birth dose. That universal birth dose is envisioned in our treatment guidelines, that any child is born in Kenya should be put on birth dose vaccine. That is hepatitis B birth dose vaccine, followed by the pentavalent that is given at 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and 14 weeks.
Is this intervention available in all clinics whereby a pregnant mother, a pregnant woman in that case, goes for their prenatal service or care clinic? Is this service, is this intervention available in all government clinics today?
The screening for hepatitis B, that is viral hepatitis surface antigen screening, is available. It's provided through NASCOP, and it's available, and all the mothers are screened. And more importantly, we are seeing the ages of 2024. We're not seeing much positivity because the vaccination, the pentavalent that I was talking about, that is given 6 weeks, 10 weeks and 14, was introduced in Kenya around 2023. So those people who are 20 and above, around 20 to 24, 25, they are about, have been vaccinated, the majority of them. And the ages, advanced ages, the mothers who are coming ANC advanced ages are the ones that we are seeing a lot of positivity.
Doc, hepatitis is regarded as a silent disease, right? But that notwithstanding, then there is the aspect of we must go to get screened. But what symptoms are there for one to pick up that perhaps this could be hepatitis?
The symptoms are there, like jaundice, but and the other ones are these normal ones, the fever, the nausea. Those you might not differentiate from other diseases, what we call differentials. However, you might not, by the time you get those symptoms, like I said, you have an advanced disease. But what do we do? Prevention is key. How do we prevent? The vaccines are available. We don't have to invent the wheel. This vaccine preventable, and it's treatable for those who are diagnosed, and the screening is available. So what we are doing is to advance awareness and advocacy, and to get the buy-in from the political elite to ensure that these services are available, and integrate these services to the routine healthcare services in our primary healthcare as well as universal healthcare.
I like the fact that you've now brought in integrating these in primary healthcare then, because there have been conversations around vaccination for a very long time, and you'd find that there are those who are pro, there are those who are anti. So perhaps then to break it down to just the importance of vaccination being part and parcel of conversations for mothers, for children, and anyone who's getting into a hospital for any treatment, that this is part and parcel of screening that is done because you want a population that is healthy. Are these conversations that are taking place for the citizenry to understand why when you walk in, perhaps screening for hepatitis would be on the table?
Truth be spoken, we are not yet at that level, but we are moving towards that. We are building the structures. You know, when you have policies and you have structures and you have the will and you have the political goodwill, then it's easy to get there. Our mandate as of now is people to create that awareness that yes, hepatitis is with us. Yes, we do have the burden, but the good thing is it is preventable, it is treatable, it is manageable, and for the cases of hepatitis C, it is curable.
Who qualifies for vaccination? At what point do you say, can anyone, like even a newborn vaccinated, a 50-year-old vaccinated, who qualifies? At what point do you say, we wanted to vaccinate you? Because many are asking, can I wake up today, go and say, I want to be vaccinated?
You cannot just wake up and get vaccinated. If you are an adult and you've never been vaccinated for hepatitis B, we are saying get tested. Know your status today. Hepatitis is a silent killer. Once you know your status and you are negative, then you are eligible for vaccination, adult vaccination, which will be given 3 doses. And 3 doses at different scheduled times. And then for the infant, that's a good question that you ask. For those infants who are born, the mothers who have been confirmed, like I said, we're testing we're screening for hepatitis for all our pregnant mothers who show in our clinics. There are disparities for those who will come late, for those who will deliver at home. But a majority, now that we have CHARs who are bringing the mothers, and we are advocating for all pregnant mothers in this country to get skilled delivery and attend as early as possible to our ANC clinics for them to be screened for not only hepatitis, but the 3 diseases and other infections. Because we're looking at this person in a holistic way, not a disease specific, as we're moving to integration. Even if today the center is hepatitis, but we're looking at that woman as a holistic individual.
Now, there's the other lot. So you have the newborns, the new mothers, but then you have the adults who have, various life choices, are suffering like liver cirrhosis because of overindulgence, maybe of drinking. The intravenous drug users, you say the injection and sharing of the needles can cause like hepatitis C and all that. How is the prognosis? Is much is a pandemic? Is this a disease that you can be treated and cured from, you can recover from? What is the resilience of the liver? We've had, I don't know that it is overrated, but it's one of the most resilient organs one has. How factual is that?
Yeah, for hepatitis C, there are active antiviral therapy that are taken for 12 weeks, and it is totally curable. For hepatitis B, like any other chronic illness, it's not a curse. These are just a medical condition. Once you are tested and you are diagnosed to have hepatitis and your level of liver damage is ascertained, you put on antivirals, like what we're calling tenofovir, only a single drug. But in Kenya, we are using a combination of 2 for life. Now we have to prepare you that you need to adhere. And we've seen if your viral load isn't that low and you haven't gone into severe liver, then the prognosis is very good. That you can reserve your liver, that vital organ. So we encourage people who are tested to go for medication. This is not a killer disease per se, as it's misconstrued, but chronic manageable disease like any other.
And in terms of treatment, because it's the beauty of having experts is that we can demystify some of the theories we have around these conditions. If one has a hepatitis B, can they get a liver transplant, and would that address the condition?
Is it curable?
Is it curable in that sense?
For sure, medical or medicine has advanced. So if you have totally liver failure, then a transplant might be an option, and it is available, though costly, and it functions. That's an option which is available.
Yep. I mean, you see, there are different ways where hepatitis becomes a burden or someone gets infected with it. And one problem there is exchange of fluids. So how do unsafe sex predispose individuals, especially the young people, on getting infected with hepatitis? How much a burden does hepatitis B where unsafe sex is the order of the day?
Thank you. That's a very valid question. Hepatitis B is sexually transmitted. If you have unsafe sex, then if you have unsafe sex with a person who is infected or doesn't know their status, then your chances of getting hepatitis is high, because it is transmitted through body fluid, blood and other body fluid. That's why we are saying prevention. A combination prevention, not vaccine only. Have safe sex, protect yourself, use condoms, and the more individuals who are at risk are those with multiple sexual partners, unfortunately, and those are the ones who must practice safe sex. And we are seeing our adolescent and young people to be in this category. I was saying we are seeing low positivity because they got the vaccines, but we also prevention is better a combined approach.
So when we look at reports coming from government that we are recording more HIV cases, say in Nairobi, among the young people, is that as well an alarm bell for doctors as well when it comes to the burden of hepatitis in the society? Because then again, HIV, how is it transmitted? Through unsafe sex. So when we see numbers of HIV going up, that in one way or the other would as well inform what needs to be done to address hepatitis. Would I be right?
We can use that one as a proxy,
but
unfortunately, viral hepatitis is more virulent, 100 times more than HIV.
Okay.
So we are more worried with hepatitis B as opposed to HIV. But HIV is more pronounced, and people speak about it, and people have knowledge about HIV, including our healthcare workers. But when you speak of hepatitis, very few know that it even exists, or even how to handle and how virulent it is. But it is virulent than HIV, and it can cause more infection than HIV, and it has more people who have mortalities or death than HIV, even globally. But unfortunately, less is done if you compare with respect to HIV, including advocacy, awareness, and also the resources that are put towards HIV if you compare with hepatitis.
I know Kamanya has a question, but let's take a short commercial break. We look at the weather and traffic, and when we come back, we continue with these in terms of as well just making sure that we are able to address the issues at hand at exactly 32 minutes after 9 a.m. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Traffic.
And it is exactly 32 minutes after 9 a.m. Let's look at the situation on our roads this morning. As we can see from our end, Thika Road is packed as you approach, especially the Muthaiga underpass. It is packed up towards Pangani. It is very, very busy as you approach the area. Be sure to be careful while doing that. But then again, if you go towards Ngong Road, there is nothing much to report about other than traffic that is around the Kenyatta National Hospital roundabout. That is busy, but it's moving nonetheless. You look at Jogoo Road around Landis Road. It is busy, but remember that is because people have overrun the road there and are selling on the road. Makadara is moving. We go to Southern Bypass is moving. Nothing much to report about. But as you talk about Airport North Road towards City Cabanas, that is busy and packed. Both lanes is busy. But you look at Wayaki Way, nothing much to report about. The traffic is flowing. Southern Bypass is easy. That is the traffic situation on our roads this morning at exactly 34 minutes after 9 a.m. Good morning.
Tired of missing out? Want to stay ahead of the curve? Get the facts, the full story, and the truth all in one place with the Standard Group's all-in-one app. Watch live TV, listen to podcasts, stream your favorite radio shows, and get breaking news alerts instantly. Plus, access premium content with the Standard Insider and never miss a beat with the Standard e-paper. Read the Standard and the Nairobian anytime, anywhere, on your phone, tablets, or laptop. No delay, no clutter, just bold, judged, and factual news on demand. And here's the deal. Get a full year's e-paper access for only 7,699 shillings. So why wait? Download the Standard app right now from Google Play or Apple App Store, or visit epaper.standardmedia.co.ke to subscribe. The Standard all-in-one app. Stay informed anywhere, anytime.
Have you tuned to the best Kalenjin radio today? Berur FM is the leading Kalenjin radio station in the Rift Valley. We are current, trendy, and bold. We bring you bold voices, big conversations, entertainment, and blessings every day. Follow us on Facebook, X, TikTok, and Instagram for the latest updates and vibes. And don't forget our live stream and YouTube. Berur FM, bold, factual, and resonating voices.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It is exactly 35 minutes after 9 a.m. Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation. We continue with talking about the hepatitis disease in the country and how we are fighting the same. And on the hot seat with us is Dr. Hadija Hassan as we continue with the conversation now. Kamanya, you had a question?
Yes, Dr. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe before the 1980s, the world did not know anything called HIV. But then it became what it became. So I'm now beginning to wonder, is this liver condition, hepatitis, a new medical phenomenon? And what could have contributed to it? At what time did we realize, now we have this condition that we need to start focusing on? Or was it still there before the HIV medical phenomenon, in your opinion?
It could have been there because it's a silent disease. If you see, jaundice has been there, and there are other diseases as well, which causes jaundice as well, that affect the liver. So, but since 2015, the WHO has been advocating for member states to align with the WHO health sector strategy to eliminate these three diseases. And yes, it's been here with that. It's only that the fact that you live 20 to 30 with asymptomatic contributes to many governments and partners and healthcare to actually put effort in those which are fulminant as opposed to this silent killer.
So, just to bring in another time up, is tetanus part of this, or is tetanus a totally different condition? And does it affect now can it lead to or cause hepatitis?
Tetanus is caused by a bacteria.
Okay.
And mainly affects the skeletal muscle, and had nothing to do with the liver, although it can exacerbate.
If one has, it can. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there is affordability of the treatment, which then is another concern for many, because there is the factor, treatment is expensive, we also don't have so much knowledge about it, and many say the diseases that have little or no information are the most expensive to deal with. So many would say, I'm feeling nauseated, but I'm gonna just go to over the counter and deal with that. Yet that is a symptom. I'm having a problem with my libido has gone down. Nitaenda kwa daktari wa mitishamba, because you know what? That is where we resort to. How expensive or how affordable is it to treat hepatitis?
Start with the myths that you brought in. We want to demystify the myths that hepatitis, or when you get a symptom, you just go to mitishamba. And that's why slowly people have been dying and burying, and especially the rural area. And there is a big connection between education and viral hepatitis transmission. We are seeing high burden in those people with low or no education at all. It also socio-economically, for those who are living crowded areas, because hepatitis B has both vertical transmission and horizontal as well. We're seeing a lot of familial transmission. So having said those conditions, the treatment, because it's not known, people are not aware that this is a disease that can be cured or treated and managed, and therefore they don't seek treatment or screening or testing earlier enough, and thereby not resorting to conventional management. But you want to say the treatment of hepatitis it's cheap, especially hepatitis B, where we're just using a single molecule that will cost us $23 to $34 per person per year. And for a government, that is not much if you consider the quality years of life that will be lost once you have chronic hepatitis. We can prevent this one because chronic hepatitis becomes expensive to treat, because of course you will require transplant and all that once your liver fails. And also now the healthy years I'm talking about, the person, and economically, those are the years that can contribute to the economy, and we're losing that. So we can look two angles: intervention and how many years of quality life that individual gains, or the country, or the population, or put intervention and see how many years you gain and how many economical gains that we have. So these are two scenarios, and a good government will go to intervention arm where you put interventions, and we have 5 types of interventions. Key, like prevent, because hepatitis B is preventable through vaccination and other preventive measures, but more importantly vaccination. That is the infant birth dose vaccination, and then continue with pentavalent. And those adults who will test negative, put them on adult vaccination, and you're done with that. You've contained the transmission. And for hepatitis C, for instance, it can be eliminated because it's curable. And educate and create awareness, the preventive measures like harm reduction, safe use of syringes and blood products to be screened before transmission. Then we're coming to test. Ensure that you are screened and tested, and if you are diagnosed, this is not a death sentence, you can be managed. And then the third is treat. Put those individuals who are eligible for treatment, and the treatment, like I said, it is available through the HIV products for free. And because we've not gone to procure for the general population, and that's why we're urging our government that this Wanjiko who is coming pregnant and she is screened and treated, she has left a sexual partners, a husband or a sexual partners, and we need to screen those ones, because definitely by the time she's coming with pregnancy, we know she has had unsafe sex, and therefore that sexual partner or the husband is of concern for us to know his status and link him to care if he's already infected, or prevent if he's still negative. Then thirdly, we need to track our progress, create a robust surveillance system, so that when you ask me what is your prevalence, I'll not quote Kempfia 2018, but I will give you real-time data that this is where we are of today or yesterday. So a robust surveillance system, reporting that can trickle from the facilities where the diagnosis and testing and screening is going on, which can feed to the National Data Warehouse and also KHIS, so that everybody where you sit, you can access this information. And lastly, we want to partner with everyone. We cannot do it alone as MOH. We're calling upon everyone who can do something. The time is now for action. We have policies in paper, but this is the time for action. Hepatitis is here, and together we can eliminate.
You see, government has set itself out to put in place initiatives to address hepatitis and deal with it, right? So one asks the question, how are we, where are we in regards to achieving that, and what are some of the barriers that is making these wins to be delayed?
Yeah, the government has put measures. One of the measures is creating the viral hepatitis section under the Ministry of Health and under the NASCOP, and also to align itself with the WHO targets of eliminating viral hepatitis by 2030, and then put more emphasis on the triple elimination. But what I want to emphasize is that the triple elimination, the 3 diseases are not at par. When you look at it, we might eliminate new infection in HIV come 2027, as the president said, or 2030, but hepatitis B is lagging behind. You know, let us frame the burden. The burden is with us, the awareness is low, the uptake of screening is low. So this is the time for action, for us to fold our sleeves, go down to where the people are, and take screening and diagnostic, point of care molecular diagnostic, and incorporate and integrate viral hepatitis into routine primary health care. That's where majority of Kenyans seek medical services.
So for testing, what specimen do you go for? If I were to go for a test, what specimen? What do you use? Blood, urine? I mean, what do you go for?
For hepatitis, you go for blood. For the molecular testing, but we also have the rapid testing, which oral
Swipe.
and as well as blood.
Yeah.
And the results are instant, just like the HIV, or one has to wait?
The results are instant for the rapid, and for the molecular we use to transport the specimen to the tertiary hospitals who can do the molecular test, but we are advocating for point of care molecular test. And as we're celebrating this year's World Hepatitis Day, whose theme is break down the barrier, we are breaking that barrier of transporting the specimen to a tertiary hospital, and we want to prove that the point of care where the patient is, you can be screened and diagnosed at the same time. And we are thankful to Remedy from Egypt, whose molecular tests are now placed in Baringo for this World Hepatitis Day so that we can test.
You know, you mentioned something that is very critical in terms of the concern areas. We've talked about Turkana, we've talked about Nyanza region, Kisumu, and these are communities, these are societies where people do associate among themselves. And this then brings the conversation on the role of communities in terms of awareness of hepatitis within their jurisdictions, because if it is a problem in Turkana, then perhaps the community needs to be enlightened and to take responsibility on sharing this information, looking at possible even lobbying for investments to come to these regions. So communities, how are we seeing different regions plugging into this conversation for the sake of their people?
Good mention of Turkana. There's something that is coming in all those communities. These are pastoralist communities. These are marginalized communities. And these are communities who associate themselves, as you said, the northeastern region, where we are seeing, especially hepatitis B, the Turkanas, the Baringal people. So that's why we are saying we both have horizontal and vertical transmission. And that's why we are advocating for the birth dose. Because you might give this mother prophylaxis at second trimester, she shows up at ANC. But now between the 6 weeks that she will get pentavalent and birth, this is the time that we have high infectivity and high transmission. And that's why we're advocating, we're asking our good government that, and through NVIP, the National Immunization Program, to ensure that we do have the birth dose that is envisioned in our integrated guidelines and also aligned with WHO. In Africa, only 17% of the newborns receive birth dose. But unfortunately, Kenya is yet to roll out the birth dose vaccine. So as we celebrate the World Hepatitis Days, this is a call that we need to incorporate the birth dose hepatitis. Like we are giving the BCG for TB and polio at birth. The first one should be birth dose viral hepatitis vaccine.
Why is Kenya finding it difficult to roll out this vaccine at birth? What's the delay? What's the lag?
This one probably I might not be able to answer why the delay, but I know it is in the guidelines, and once you have them anchored in the policy, that the government has the responsibility to take up that. And I know that's the direction we are moving if we want to get to the elimination targets.
You know, the challenge is that some things you cannot fully and truly enforce in terms of law. I think the best form of adherence to treatment and compliance stems from when the client is fully aware of the challenges they are facing and they are compliant, they adhere to the treatment, other than coming out as this is an obligation and you must. Today, most young mothers are happy to get a vaccination against polio because they know, they have seen. And that's why there is no much resistance regarding the BCGs and the other vaccinations you mentioned earlier. But you realize of late, especially here in Kenya, there has been sort of a new development of vaccines that the population is not comfortable with. And I'll cite an example. We had a typhoid vaccine going around the other day. I think there was also a cholera type vaccine some other time. And people don't have faith in this vaccination, either courtesy of inadequate information being out there before, or
religious beliefs
or cultural practices, or also people being fully aware sometimes that some of these conditions, there are other ways of preventing them. So, and this now creates a resistance on the uptake of the vaccine. How does this affect the same when you're talking about the hepatitis B?
First of all, to start with, polio. How many campaigns have we had of polio?
Took a long time, many years.
So it
How many
took
years?
Time for a new initiative to be uptaken, because there are different levels of understanding of that. But for viral hepatitis, the vaccine is not universally available for us to carry out that. And that's why we asking and we crying to our government, because this is vaccine preventable disease, and which causes detrimental liver disease and death, because it's a second killer. So many institutions like the cancer institution will come in, because hepatocellular carcinoma, once you get, now you transition to the cancer institute, because that's a cancer now. So call for everyone, like Mother Teresa said, what I know you don't know, and what you know I don't know, but together we can do great things. And that's why you're calling upon the government at different levels, the national, the county, because health is devolved. We have the partners, we have the community, everyone has a role. Let's come together, let's campaign, let's put innovations which are already there. The good thing is the innovations for viral hepatitis are already there, and all we need is to partake and have that goodwill so that we can carry out. If you remember very well, in the 1970s, there was kick polio in the world. Not polio, smallpox, sorry. And now smallpox is something of the past, and that we don't have to even vaccinate or care about. And I envision is to see that a world which is free of hepatitis, if the correct decision is made, and made it now.
I think even polio, there was a campaign for kick polio sometimes during a World Cup somewhere there. So I agree, it takes a lot of time and effort and convergence of ideas on how to best penetrate various setups, because you have culture, you have religion, you have foods as well that could contribute to immune system and otherwise. But I'm just wondering, what, in your opinion, if you have the stats for it, what's the level of child mortality courtesy of hepatitis B, which goes unattended from the mothers because of the infection?
So generally, the mortality is high for hepatitis, because 12% is the global contribution of children who acquire through mother-child transmission. However,
do you have a local Kenyan statistic on that?
However, once you acquire, the chances of you transiting to chronicity is very high, 90 to 95%. But you need to take 30 to 20 years. So by the time fatalities occur, you're already 30 years and above, an adult.
I mean, sorry, you see, in this conversation, one thing that needs to be pushed more is preventing infection, right? And with that, then there is, you can go get screened, practice safe sex, with those who are injecting, stop injecting. Government needs to as well step in enforcement. But there is one area that perhaps should as well be talked about, where is sex education among children, among the youth, which for one reason or the other, religious institutions have said, no, our cultures as well, and also just our African culture as the way we are, these are things that we just do not talk about. On that aspect alone, to just having conversations around it and making it a normal conversation, how would that be a game changer when it comes to addressing the burden?
It will be a game changer. But I've said you need to know how to approach it. Maybe use the religious leaders, especially communities who probably they won't want a lady to address a congregation of men about sexuality. But those are realities which are with us. And hepatitis doesn't know barriers, it doesn't know religion, it doesn't know tribe or ethnicity. It affects everyone so long as you're exposed. So I think it's prudent for everyone, starting with our teachers, our healthcare workers, the community, the clergy, and everyone, to be freely talking about the transmission of hepatitis and sexuality and what you can do, not to stop sex, but to have a safe sex.
Another thing that happens is you have your partner, you want to get married. First thing, go test for HIV, and it remains there. But people don't take further information, further steps to overall healthy being. How are you? Let's take a test of hepatitis, find out where it is we are. And this perhaps is one of the ways as well, because like you've said, if you look at mother to baby transmission, that right there is because of two people who came together and sired a child. So if you do not have conversation around hepatitis and continuous monitoring of how you are as parents, you are exposing your offspring to that disease. So perhaps then this is not only a conversation at that macro level, but to micro level as well, that needs to be had more often, you reckon?
That is very welcome, and I think as a program that's where we want to go. But we want to start first of all educating our healthcare workers, because the level of knowledge, if you compare to HIV, is much low. Once now the healthcare workers, and then we move to those people like CHPs,
yes.
And those are the people who go to communities and they have assigned 100 households. And those are the people that now we can leverage on to ensure that the awareness of hepatitis goes as par with HIV. So like I said, we want to leverage on the structures because we are embedded in the HIV. We want to leverage on those structures that are for HIV for us to create hepatitis awareness, which is equal to whatever the HIV has achieved.
And you see, in terms of social management of the disease, a lot of people had to contend with stigmatization during HIV intervention and treatment. And now here also we are saying, it can be transmitted sexually. So, that can be attributed to immorality in the society. That does not necessarily mean so. And this may keep people away from wanting to show up for clinics, for treatment and follow-up. What new, perhaps, modalities of intervention, of outreach, of awareness can we use to sensitize people just to know that this is not a moral issue, it's not a promiscuity issue, it is a medical condition, as you put it, and it can be managed?
So the stigma is very high for hepatitis, because one thing, the transmission mirrors HIV, and the treatment for HIV. So combine those ones with low knowledge and awareness, the stigma is very high. But even for the HIV, 40 years down the line, the stigma is still there. We might not eradicate stigma, but we want to work hard to ensure that we reduce stigma and we elevate health-seeking behavior so that people can come out to be screened and to be tested for them to know their status. And that's why in this year's World Hepatitis Day, we are saying break the barriers, and one of the barrier is stigma.
Stigma. You said where will it
quickly,
be?
Yes.
In
Baringo, date?
Marigat, 28th July.
World Hepatitis Day,
Perhaps quickly, can the viral load go so low, like that of HIV, to an extent that one cannot transmit, even if they had exchange of body fluids?
Yes, for sure. If you are diagnosed earlier, and your viral load is low and you are put on treatment, when you meet the treatment eligibility, we are seeing good prognosis. We are seeing rapid reduction because the antiretrovirals are highly active in reducing the viral load, and that now reduces progression to cirrhosis, scarring of the liver and other liver complications that hepatocellular carcinoma.
Dr. Hadija Hassan, as MPharm, MEC in International Public Health, FELP, and it is Nasema asante sana. This conversation definitely must continue as we approach the World Hepatitis Day. Everybody should take care of themselves, our government, our communities, to invest in these conversations as well. I just want to say thank you to the entire team that made this production a success. Marion, Barasa, Skitty, we have Joyline, Barasa, we have Mutanu, and Kevo as well.
Still somewhere there.
We want to say asante sana for making this a success, including you for listening to us from 6 in the morning. I'm Dennis Aseto, Kamanya. We're saying goodbye for the week. That is, Yolanda Muro is back, is coming in next with Sugar and Spice. In the meantime, enjoy the music. Bye-bye for now.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.